Hi everybody, and welcome to another extra very special Hobby Titans. I'm here, of course, with Kat, who's back after, I think, 2 weeks of
2
no
weeks,
Kat.
yeah.
Kat, how you been? What have you been up to?
A lot. We just got done with KublaCon. We split.
Bay Area Open,
Yes.
also,
Yeah.
for non-Bay Area, non-locals.
Fair.
Like, right?
Fair. Yeah. KublaCon's a pretty big local show. If you're on the West Coast, but other than that, we also made a presence at Star Wars Celebration.
Right, Seth was down there, right?
In Anaheim.
Yeah.
Also made a presence down at Collecticon in Dallas.
That was the other one. Okay,
Yeah.
it's funny, I was pretty much able to know that almost all of my friends here that I've made in the Bay Area are mostly gaming friends.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much able to know what all of them were doing 2 weekends ago because they were all either in Star Wars Celebration or Bay Area Open / KublaCon.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any friends that weren't at one of those two things.
Yeah. Yeah. Also working on the LVO painting program, which we will talk about later
Yeah,
on.
which is exciting. LVO 2023. We're already talking about LVO 2023. Can you believe it?
I cannot,
It's crazy,
but I have
actually.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like it just ended, like LVO just kind of ended almost, right?
That's kind of how like these kind of things go. Yeah, if you're on the planning side of like big events or whatever, everything's like squared away at least a year ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, last week, while you were not here, I talked a bit about an experience I had at the Bay Area Open with a model of mine, Cragnose, the End of Empires, and decided that I want to put a little bit of time in leveling Kragnos up, bringing him up a little bit. I got some good advice.
It's good.
And you're somebody that I know can help me execute that advice. So that's my plan today.
Okay.
Is to level up my Kragnos. You're working on something that's super cool.
Yeah.
That I definitely want to talk about. We'll get a close-up look on him in a little bit here. Are you ready to get to work?
Yeah.
You ready to do this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's get creative. Okay, now here he is before. Friends of the show will know that I painted Kragnos, the End of Empires, several months ago. I literally could not tell you when I painted him. It was before Christmas. I think it was in December. Anyway, I painted Kragnos about half a year ago. Oh my gosh, this is crazy how fast time goes by. Painted Kragnos like half a year ago. Kragnos was definitely in one of my top models that I have painted. Brett and I shared our top models at the end of the year in 2021. Oh my God, I don't know what year it is. And Kragnos was among mine. I told fans last week that I at the behest of Megan, my wife, took Kragnos and entered him into the Bay Area Open the KublaCon Open painting competition. And I kind of foolishly entered him into the Masters and was like, wow, I am very outclassed here. But I did get a bronze award, and I was really excited about that. And I got some really good feedback. You said, I couldn't remember this guy's name, my judge, which is really not cool of me. I'm normally pretty good at names. What did you say this guy's name was?
Michael Kleiman.
Michael Kleiman, okay.
Yeah.
And we think that's who it is. We're basing it off of my description of this guy, which is nothing like special. He didn't have an eye patch or anything.
No.
It was just like he was like a normal guy.
A normal dude.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
He's also a school teacher, which I
that
think
wouldn't necessarily help with the description.
Yeah.
Maybe the most special thing about him was that he was soft-spoken, and that's what I was like, oh, I think that's him. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I did with Kragnos, and this is what I submitted. And while we have him here, just for another couple seconds, the big feedback I got was really interesting. I talked to Adrian about this. Adrian actually said he's gone home and already enacted this feedback and was like, oh, wow, duh. Which is that we should just go a little further. Yeah. And crazily enough, honestly, what Michael told me was to highlight up more and to low light, so build contrast.
Yep.
But he was almost like, I am a little bit lazy and like to use an airbrush. I do like brushwork, but I will always push airbrushing as far as I can. Mm-hmm. And Michael was like, yeah, I think honestly it's mostly, you could accomplish most of it with airbrushing, which was crazy. So like, of course I'm not going to turn down like, hey, just load paint in the airbrush a few more times and go a little further. So that's what I'm gonna do
Nice.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm a little nervous, but you know what? Like, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? I'm gonna ruin Kragnos, the End of Empires.
I will never consider a model ruined unless you like break him beyond repair. Like if you drop him and he shatters into a million pieces, then I'd be like, okay, maybe he's not worth the work.
Yeah, maybe if that happens, then that's okay, right?
Yeah. Because to me, the cool thing about painting is like you can always paint back over anything that you do.
That's true.
Yeah.
Can we? Let's put your this thing, whatever this thing is, on the table as well.
Yeah.
I know he's not exactly gonna stand.
Let me fix his foot really quick.
Okay. I'm gonna grab Kragnos and get to work now. I think the first thing I'm going to do, and Kat, I'm going to be checking in with you a lot on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing I'm going to do is one of the pieces of feedback I got was on Kragnos' base. We always talk about how you and I like bright colored minis.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to, I think I do tend to take that too far in areas where it doesn't need to be like that. So underneath Kragnos' rock, it's like a little too light. So I'm going to like just tone it down a bit.
Let me actually turn this off really quick.
Oh, you don't want to try to adhere him to a moving turntable?
I don't think it's going to work very well.
I actually think we should put it on the GlamCam view and watch you as you try to. No, we don't have to.
That's fair.
But maybe next time we'll do a vote.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to see Kat
struggle
and watch a model try to get stuck to
a moving
all
right. I think we're good.
Turntable, GlamCam turntable.
All right, I think we're good. Let me turn this back on really quick. Yeah, so people might know, maybe they don't, maybe they do, maybe they don't, that I'm super into Conquest.
Yeah.
And this is the Apex Predator model in Conquest. He's huge in comparison to like, I don't know, I'd say like a paint bottle or something.
Paint bottle stands no chance against this guy.
Yeah. Well, I was just using it because I think a paint bottle is about the size of like a infantry unit in Conquest. But yeah, that just kind of shows how big he is. I painted him up to this level a while ago. I want to say probably even before I started, or maybe like in conjunction with me starting my Gloomspite army. And the one thing that really drew me to Conquest was the feathered dinosaur part of it. Mm-hmm. And so most of my references for the dinosaurs are either fish or birds.
Yeah.
And this reference was like a raven of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a saddle that goes on top of him. That's what those black divots on his like thighs are. There is I think it's a hoodoo or something. But yeah, there's
Howdah.
Howdah.
Yeah. I know.
It's not a Howdah though.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah. But it's a saddle and you stand on top of it or whatever. But,
it has a different. Okay.
Yeah. I have that in pieces in front of me because I sub-assemble paint everything. But yeah, this reference was a raven, and you can kind of see he's very dark, but he's not black. The tops of his feathers are like a really dark night blue, and then on the underside of them, they're like a purpley red color. Mm-hmm. To the point where I wanted to get him where if you moved him around, or as I move him around on the table, depending on what angle you're seeing him from, he's looking like he has like a potential iridescence or a shift in colors or something.
Which is super cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny, you weren't on the show last week, but I do believe we spent some time talking about the dinosaur show on Apple TV Plus, because I'm always trying to get people to get Apple TV Plus.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, Adrian and I were talking about it, and it was kind of funny. You came in today and were like, and I was like, oh, you would like it because they have a lot of feathered dinosaurs on there. And I said, because scientists believe that, or scientists, that's what scientists say.
That's what scientists think or something.
And Kat got like real defensive. She's like, well, there's lots of evidence. I was like, okay, I'm not a dinosaur feather denier. I believe it. I phrased it. I phrased it maybe a little too aggressively.
Yeah, no.
But as soon as you brought him in, I've been watching this dinosaur show with David Attenborough, and all these dinosaurs have feathers. Not all of them, but many of them.
Yeah.
And it immediately reminding me of that. And oftentimes they're somewhat brightly colored in areas just like you've done here. So you should definitely check out the show.
Okay.
I think you'd be like, oh, cool. Like, this is what dinosaurs probably look like. Like the way they have raptors, how raptors look, is very similar. They're like very feathery.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, they do have raptors in Conquest as well too. And all of my raptors currently right now are painted differently. And it was just an attempt for me to see the different paint schemes that I thought I wanted, and like how they would look on the sculpts and stuff. But a lot of them have like fluorescent tips to their feathers or something like that. So they're all super bright. But I wanted to go like a darker route with this guy because I am gonna have 2 of him.
No, you'll have 2 of those.
Yeah, in a full 2,000 point army, I will have 2.
Will they be similar or?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm really into like it's sort of like opposites. So maybe because this one's so dark, I might do like a really bright one.
Oh, I see.
And then have like a darker underbelly or something. But yeah, essentially with this guy, I painted him up to a certain level. Painted all of his leather and everything like that, and then decided he just needed something else. And I went in and I sprayed the lighter underbelly on him.
Oh, yeah.
So I need
which is a good look, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. But I need to fade that into the blue, because I'm pretty sure if someone was looking at him as I was playing with him, no one would notice the little speckling and stuff. But I notice it, and I don't like it. So
yeah. Well, first thing I'm doing in here, Kat, is I'm jumping in. I'm toning down the undersides of my rocks on Cragnos's base.
Yeah.
And it is pretty crazy how spraying Corvus black onto like light gray doesn't really do what you think it's gonna do. It doesn't turn it black, right?
You're right.
It just darkens it. So I'm already very immediately happy with this.
Yeah.
But I almost think it could still maybe go a little darker.
Then go a little darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were discussing a little bit before stream, and we were like, wait, stop. Let's let's wait.
Yeah.
And
because you had really interesting advice.
Yeah, my advice when someone is like, bring your contrast up more.
Yeah.
One, that's why I like zenithal highlighting, priming. And you take a picture of your model just in that full black and white state.
Yeah.
And then this is what you reference back when you are going back to highlight. Because everything that is super bright in that picture, you want to make sure then stays essentially almost that bright. And then everything that's super dark, same thing. But my number one advice for you when it's at this stage, because everything is very middle of the line.
Right.
Is when you go back in, go darker than you think you're going to go and go lighter than you think you're going to go. And then it's a lot of push-pull of trying to then blend those two together. And then most of the time, at least for me, because I tend to err on the side of caution, and I make things a little bit darker than they should, then go back in and highlight again.
Then bring it back up.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're airbrushing, the coats of paint are so thin that it's not like you're wrecking anything, right?
Yeah.
I always kind of think about an airbrush you always have an eraser, and the eraser is the color that you just messed up on top. You just go back with that color.
Yeah.
And mostly that is something that works. Not always, maybe, but yeah. I couldn't find a bad in black, so I'm maybe psychotically here using our Vallejo surface primer, but it's doing the trick, so I'm okay with this.
That's awesome. Now, were you I don't know. Were you happy with your results with your competition? What did you get the most out of it, really? Because I was really happy to hear that you got some really good feedback.
Oh,
that's
honestly,
mainly
the feedback. Yeah, I mean, that was the and the nice thing about it was Michael was just so good at giving feedback that was sometimes somebody just says something to you that's like just so obvious, but
Right.
you haven't been doing it, and that's often like the best feedback you can get. Because it's so easy to implement, right? He didn't go over, like lots of times people are really excited about what they do, and so they go in and they start telling you like crazy things that are like, just like, oh, you need to get this product and you need to use this product in this way, and just like maybe like overboard.
Okay.
Right? But you said he was a school teacher, and it showed because he just gave very nice, clear, concise advice. That was like, here's the thing that needs to happen, more contrast.
Right.
Here are the ways you should do it, right? And he gave me like 2 like quick ways that are just going to do that. And that, yeah, it was great. It was amazing. I go to these things and I don't typically take classes because I want to play. And that's probably not going to change, but
That's fair.
to some degree,
That's fair.
I lament that because maybe at a different stage in my life, I'll take more classes. But honestly, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because like I do want to show my stuff off, and my favorite way to show my stuff off is by playing.
Yeah.
But also like I'm not necessarily learning, so it's really cool to just. KublaCon and Bay Area Open was cool in that way that I got to do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And actually, that's pretty uncommon at a con. Like, I guess so. Like, LVO Sigmar is 3 days at LVO, so I can't. No, it's only 2 days unless I get in the top 8, which probably won't happen. So I guess I could, if there's a class on a Sunday, I could take. But you know what I mean. Like, typically, there's not time for both.
Yeah, if you're going to be playing in a tournament or whatever, there's unless it's like a small narrative event or something like that, then maybe you can do both. No, yeah, I get that.
Sorry, but you're right. I could do more a la carte events, and we've talked about that. Brent and I even talked about that at a previous LVO, and just like maybe like kind of going and doing like 1 or 2. Like doing like a small event each day, or a 1-day event each day, and changing it up. Which is not unattractive, especially in the context of painting classes. Like, that's pretty cool, right? You paint one day, next day you play, next day you paint again, something like that. Certainly not, like, writing that off.
Yeah, and I like that about, the painting programs at different conventions that are trying to grow. We'll definitely talk about LVO, because I help organize the painting program for the LVO. And this year, well, I guess next year, because 2023 is going to be very, 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 very exciting. But we do offer a lot of like, here's a short, like 2-hour class that you can do. Here's a shorter, maybe like if you have a spare 4 hours or something. We do offer that at the LVO. So yeah. Awesome. We'll get into our first super chats. Thank you, Broken Chef. Excited for today's stream. I am trying to go fully painted on Saturday, which is cutting it close. Zach, you AOS champing LVO?
I am doing the AOS champs at LVO 2023. Yes, Broken Chef. Very excited about that. And starting to line up a lot of practice games, hoping to do well. I will probably even level up my daughters a bit, and my list will change maybe just a little bit. And then, of course, it's far away, so meta could change. I might need to, but I will be adding to that army a lot anyway, regardless of what's cool, what's in the meta. I have so much, honestly, not even gray plastic. Well, it is gray plastic. It's assembled and primed and ready to go. So I'm going to be adding that army like crazy over the year, here and there, unit probably every month or 2. And I will probably even up my display board, add to my display board. I have the bottom part, but I think I actually want to add additional parts that go behind it, maybe some parts that go in front of it. Honestly, just like make like a whole play set for my army, like a children's style play set, like a G.I. Joe
Oh, that's
kind
cute.
of Barbie house style thing.
That's cute.
I think that's what I'm just gonna do. Just not taking any chances. I just want the display board to be like crazy.
Yeah, full diorama almost.
LEDs, just everything. Like I'm not screwing around this year. So I will be working on that, and I'm really excited actually for LVO. It's kind of funny, LVO. I just bought tickets for LVO, and SoCal tickets aren't even up yet, which is kind of funny because SoCal's in October usually.
Yeah, it's a smaller event.
It's a smaller event, right? LVO is like the big thing, so it totally makes sense. I'm doing that. Broken Chef, kind of curious to hear what you're going to be doing if you're going to LVO. Actually, kind of curious to hear what everybody's doing, and I'm sure over the months I will start to find out. I'm going to also take this super chat from Michael Cody. Thank you, Michael Cody, for a painting army. I'm starting Black Templars, but I don't want to paint black. What's a good color scheme that lets me go full try hard? Ooh, this is a good cat question. And also, Michael, did you meet Michael Cody?
I did. I did meet Michael Cody.
We got to meet Michael Cody. Really awesome. Again, Michael Cody, to meet you. I'm enjoying meeting. We've not had a lot of events where we've met fans yet, because events are still like kind of creeping back, right?
Yeah, there's been a few big ones. I know LVO of this year was like kind of one of the first.
Yeah.
And then, at least for like tournaments and stuff, there's been LVO, Adepticon, which I know you guys didn't go to.
We did not go to. No.
And yeah, very open.
Yeah. I forget, Kat, are you going to Nova?
No.
You're not going to Nova. Okay. You're going to be like the only one here at the studio for like a week.
Wow, I'm gonna destroy the place. House party. Mom
and
Dad are gone.
All right. Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, no, Nova's in like a couple weeks, right? Is it 4th of July weekend?
It's Labor Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
September.
Okay, then that's that's not
August,
so bad. I do have a few friends who are going to Nova, but a lot of my travel and stuff is based off of work. And so I try to plan around it. And we had a bunch of stuff that was somewhat nebulous. Now it has been nailed down, which is super exciting. And I can announce that the Washington State Game Castle will be opening the 25th of this month.
So that's if you're in, it's in Seattle?
It's just outside of Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, Kent, Washington. So it's just outside of Seattle. It's maybe like a 20-minute drive from downtown Seattle, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be opening up the 25th of this month, which is really exciting because that was a lot of like what was kind of holding me back from saying yes or no to a bunch of stuff. Was I didn't know when that was going to be opening.
Yeah. Game castles. We're not, other than the fact that Kat is heavily involved with Game Castle. We don't have like an official affiliation with them.
Yeah.
But they are great stores wherever they are. Although I've not been to have I? I'm not sure I've been to a outside the Bay Area Game Castle yet.
Oh, okay.
I think the last time, I can't remember if we went to the Reno one or not. I don't think I did. But the ones in the Bay Area are awesome. So definitely great to check out. And if you are in the Seattle area, it's a good addition to the gaming world out there. Like, how big is the store?
I don't know. A good size, maybe around the size of the one that's just down the street.
Oh, okay. So pretty good, like pretty good gaming
decent,
space. Yeah.
It's definitely gonna have pretty good gaming space. It is really cool. It's in like this like cute little sort of like downtown-ish area. There's a bunch of restaurants around it, so which is always great.
It is great, and maybe my least favorite thing about the one right here down the street
is that there's no food around. Yeah, except for like the worst McDonald's ever.
Well, Michael Cody did ask a real question, which
Yes.
was, well, yeah, we were just
Yes.
saying, Michael
Yeah,
Cody's so
yeah,
excited to meet you, and then like we never addressed his question.
So I don't know a whole lot about like the lore of Black Templars, but my initial instinct when I hear like, oh, black, because I was a traditional painter before I got into miniature painting, and a lot of what my teachers kind of made me shy away from was actually painting just solid black, make it look black, but without actually using black.
Right.
And so that would be my initial advice of painted a really, really, really dark color that makes it look almost black, maybe a dark green, dark blue, dark purple.
Yeah, but can, like, what,
Yeah.
so he wants to do, he's saying a painting, like this is an army he really wants to look good, like, right? So like, what's the difference? Why would you use purple? Why would you use black? Why would you use purple? Why would you use green? Like, what would you?
So my big thing when you're painting almost in absolutes, right? Like absolute white, absolute black, is that you don't really get a whole lot of dimension to that color.
Right.
That's just what it is. It's black or white. When you start painting in different values that are almost white, almost black, you get a whole lot of like dimension to that color. And so things start to look almost like velvety in a way. And you get this like cool kind of tonal shift where you start messing with people's eyes a little bit. And the longer they focus on it, maybe they can pick out the different colors that you're using. But from far away, everyone's like, oh, that's a Black Templar's army because it's black. And or, you know, the different models and stuff that you're using in it.
And that's kind of, I mean, we get a lot of flack for joking about, well, me especially, trees not being brown, but that's sort of like what's going on, right? Like from far away, actually, these are the colors these things look like.
Yeah.
But then when you get up close, like especially with things in nature, but even like you're suggesting, solid black real armor in real life is going to be reflecting light or absorbing light.
It's going to be
like
absorbing
interacting
light,
with light in particular ways that give it color, right? That give it.
It's going to look pretty flat if you're just painting in absolutes, which is why I don't like painting in absolutes. Now you can do monochromatic stuff, but it sounds like Michael Cody doesn't want to actually paint black. So that's an option, either super dark green, super dark purple, super dark blue.
So how would you build up from there? How would you, let me also ask you this, because I find that there aren't, like these colors, you and I have talked about how we like, one of our favorite colors is AK red black, but even AK red black is really not black. Like it's
a dark red.
It's a dark red,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you would never try to pass that off as anything close to black.
No.
So how do you get these? We don't see a lot of them. This here you've got this amethyst blue. It's very dark.
It's purple, yeah.
But it's like a very dark blue purple.
Yeah.
But like, would you build up? Like, how do you build up from these colors?
Yeah. So I mean,
Hall red. This is actually darker than black red.
Yeah, that's like a brownish red.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you actually paint it on, it's actually pretty red. Depends on how much you thin it out.
Yeah.
But I would start with black primed models, and then just build up using like very dark colors, but very thinned out dark colors. And essentially, you're just going to be highlighting with these dark colors. And so you're not actually painting black, but you have black. Maybe that's a little bit cheaty. But that would be my advice. You're essentially highlighting with these super, super, super dark colors. And so you get that shift. And so it almost kind of looks like an oil slick a little bit. And maybe you can add even, if you're just going to do green or something, maybe add in a little bit of purple in different areas, so that you can get that sort of like oil slicked look to it. I think that would be really cool. But other than that, it just kind of depends, because it's a little hard for me to answer because I don't know like what colors you can paint Black Templars. Like I've heard that you can kind of paint things however you want to, but there is sort of like a thing.
Brett did his. We jokingly call them brown Templars, but Brett really did like lots of people will do a little bit of dark blue on the Black Templars for like a highlight. They'll do black and then do like highlight. Brett actually almost did like these browns and then kind of leaned into warmer colors. But I mean, I think the idea is that he wants them to still, and correct me if I'm wrong, Michael Cody, just at us here, like, you still want them to look like Black Templars. You just don't want them to actually be that black. Probably since he's wanting to actually have an army that's like something he really invests in, probably for the same reason you're saying, like, you don't like to just do black, because it does shut down a lot, right? So I think you're okay to recommend any colors, and
okay.
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation is just don't use black, right? Like, you're going to be painting up from black prime models just so that you can get that super dark base to it. But then you're going to be highlighting using like blues or purples or something like that. I personally am really into like green, like super dark green.
Okay.
I think that would be cool. I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff that's like that. I've seen a lot of blues. I've seen a lot of purples. But I think green would be really cool, because I think some of the Black Templar stuff is like red, sort of like accents a little bit. And I think
there are red and like cream and red bone, or like the two.
Yeah,
like
I think those would go really, really well together, especially cream and green. And then depending on the tone of your red, I think that would look actually really cool. And now I want to see it. So
there, without it being too Dark Angels. I think like one of the colors that's very cool in the Citadel line is called Incubi Darkness. I love that color as a suggestion of black. Myself, Michael Cody. It does not come in an airbrush, and I always am not sure who's airbrushing these days and who's not, but it comes in a base, which I like, and I actually think turn into airbrush paints fairly well with a decent amount thinner. And you guys have seen how I like to thin my Citadel base or layer paints. I almost just open the bottle and blast as much AK thinner in there as will fit, and then give it a good shake, and usually it's okay.
Yeah.
I won't promise it always goes through a Sotar amazingly, but
you can always add more thinner as well too. Yeah.
You're not stuck with that bottle, right? You have other options. But.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm finding that's kind of interesting here, as I'm starting to paint this guy with the low lights, is one thing that's happening is, so one thing I already knew is that I don't know if you feel this way, Kat, but I got this lamp because it can change hue. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but I don't like the daylight white hue that we normally like to paint with. I don't like that when I'm doing weird shading stuff. I actually like this bizarre yellow one. I feel like I can see what's going on. I don't know if that's right or not, or if it's just my imagination.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes when I'm painting underneath a table lamp and not just whatever lighting is in the room, I'll shut it off and look at it, or I'll take it outside and I'll look at it. Because, sometimes that lighting can just kind of mess with your eyes a little bit. And I don't know if you've noticed that, when we're done painting, after, a stream, and then you go and look at something else, or, we turn on the lights, the rest of the lights in the studio, and I'm like, oh, I thought I liked this. Never mind. And that's happened a couple times for me. And then I've gone back and, changed some stuff. So, because it looks good in this lighting, but then this isn't necessarily natural.
That happened to me last week. I almost never love whenever I do metallics on stream. I often when they're over with, I'm like, what just happened?
We'll go back and fix them.
Yeah. That definitely happened a little bit last week. But one cool thing I'm realizing is as I'm low lighting Kragnos in areas where I want to build out contrast by making him darker. Sorry guys, let me actually get this view a little bit better for you by moving this light. One thing I'm noticing here is that it's interesting when you hold him up with the light on, with the right light on, it really messes with your eyes with how shadows are working. And then I'm like, oh, good, that's kind of what it's supposed to be doing, because I'm I'm building in fake shadows, right?
Yeah.
And I started to realize that with the rock. I was like, what? I was like turning him, and I was like, why isn't this lightning? Why isn't under the rock getting any brighter when I turn it towards the light? And then I was realizing, oh, because I painted a fake shadow there that I've not really done a lot of before.
Yeah, and that is actually really cool. Because when I was painting my Plague Angel, I really wanted this like really strong lighting effect going across them, and it was the first time that I had ever done something like that. And so what I would do is I would put them under a table lamp and make it super, super, super bright, get him to the angle that I wanted him to be at where like this really bright light was coming at him.
Right, okay.
And then I would take a bunch of pictures and then I would shut that table lamp off just so that it wasn't then messing with me and like having me think like,
Oh, I see.
Oh, I put that highlight in, and then the moment I turn it off, I'm like, never mind, I didn't.
Kat is definitely, I don't know if you guys have picked up on it, she's definitely passive-aggressively trying to get me to take pictures and look at it. It's like she's like keeps bringing it up like I'm not going to notice.
Yeah, you just, paint it in black and white, you take pictures.
Cool.
Another thing that you can do in order to test your...
Do you think I should re-prime Kragnos?
No. No.
Oh my god, it was stream. Can you imagine if I like not only like just did it, but did it with like a rattle can like right here on stream? People would like freak out. And
I mean, we got a bunch, you know,
we might get a lot of views though.
Yeah.
We could retitle.
Be crazy.
Total idiot.
Just
ruins a decently painted model.
Just has
Live
like
on
a
stream.
mental breakdown because he got a bronze.
Yeah. Which was like, by the way, I thought I was gonna get laughed at this like painting competition.
Oh,
I told this last week. I was like, realistically, pretty sure they were gonna like, call me up to give me a dunce cap.
No, no.
But like some of the stuff in that category was crazy good.
I understand how you feel, but yeah.
But also, like, to be fair, like I'm not just beating myself up. I'm not beating myself up. Like I said this last week, like those guys are more like you. That's like what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mostly paint armies and I paint models for armies. So like my individual models that like don't have that amount of work put into them that these guys do, right? So that's why I had that kind of sense of like, oh my god, what have I done? But no dunce cap, so I was happy. But yeah, the advice was good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's my favorite part about competitions is like I do them because I want to get better, and I want that feedback. That was like one of kind of like the disappointing things about the Adepticon competition, the resin piece competition that I did. When I went to go pick up my model, none of the judges were there for me to talk to, and it was just kind of like, well, here's your model back, and I'm like, cool, thank you. And like I know,
you know, feedback more. Sorry, I totally just interrupted you. But before you move on, feedback more or trophy more? Because trophy's pretty cool too.
Feedback. Okay. Feedback.
I think me too.
Feedback. Yeah.
Not just saying that. 'Cause that's
Trophies are cool. Trophies are cool. Trophies are really, really, really cool. I liked getting accolades.
They're like fun, right?
It makes you feel really good. But what I honestly do competitions for is to be better. And a trophy with no feedback doesn't mean anything.
But
to
you're
me.
trying to, let's not kid ourselves, you're trying to get better.
Oh, yeah.
To
get the trophy.
To get the trophy.
Yes,
next
yes,
time. Right, yeah.
yes. End goal trophy, but really the prize that I get out of it is the feedback.
And like I can take anything for a trophy. Like it can be like, it doesn't have to be, like you can take a model and just like prime it with like Krylon gold and that can and like put it on a wooden block. You can 3D print some free file you found. Does literally not matter. The name of the event is nice, but doesn't have to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, when you were like, oh, I got this, but I'm going to talk more about the feedback, it was making me like really excited for you.
In all seriousness, of course the feedback is what matters the most. The trophy is just like fun, right? Like it's like cool to get a trophy and like collect these trophies and be like, here's my best painting trophy. You know?
Yeah. That was the one thing that was like kind of disappointing for me about the resin beast competition. When I went to go pick up my model, it was like, here's your stuff, and if you want feedback, you can email. And I'm like, that's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. I want you to hold my model in your hand and like tell me, whatever. Because I have a feeling of how I can improve.
Right.
But I want to hear it from someone else.
But it's also nice to just be able to like in that moment. I mean, that's why people. It is great to learn from YouTube, but having a direct teacher is big because you can like. They can say something and you can be like, oh, you mean like this on my particular model right here? And they'll go, yes.
Yeah.
You take that and put it over here. Like,
right.
well,
Or like you see what you're doing right here. I really like this, but you didn't do it on this side, and so it feels lopsided. Whatever. Right. And they really can point that out to you, and I like that a lot. And that's the main reason why I do competitions. And like I don't do it to win. I didn't enter them thinking, oh yeah, I'm at this level.
Got to get that trophy.
I'm at this level. I'm like a peer of everyone else in here. That's not the point. That's feedback. Anyway.
Feedback is fun. Okay, look, can I hop in here real quick?
Yeah.
And actually, this is great because you can maybe, I don't know if you can see back. So I have low lighted Kragnos. I've made him darker in a lot of areas so far. And right away, like I immediately like this better because it makes the areas that are lighter like pop immediately. And shocker, that's what contrasting does, right? Mm-hmm. But now I am at the stage, I have highlighted the rock up a bit in a few spots. I picked a few kind of key pointy spots and brought them up just a little bit more. I could do more, but like you said, it's that push and pull, and I'm gonna work on the rest of the model and then see. Mm-hmm. I have done underneath here. I've done like his armpit, which was previously about the same color as like more open areas, but it's so it's so funny the way I'm still doing that thing I was saying. I'm like turning them, expecting the shadow to go away, and it doesn't. I'm like, oh, that's a good thing. So here's where I'm at now. I need to bring Cragnose up in areas. And I was having this conversation with Kat before stream, and folks at home, maybe you guys have felt the same way about this sometimes. I'm very happy to highlight up the danger, and frankly, this is what makes an airbrush a magical tool, but the danger is changing the color, right? I don't really want to change the color of Cragnose here. I just want to bring it up kind of naturally. So I have a collection of paints here, and I'm going to kind of put Kat on the spot and be like, what would you, with what I have here, I'm trying to think like is this right? Deathclaw Brown?
No.
Because
that will turn him orange.
That will change the color.
Yes.
So we want to not do that.
Yeah.
As I just said. Okay.
Yeah.
No Deathclaw orange. Okay, we're gonna start. So then by that logic, this would turn him
yellow.
Yeah. Checks out. That tracks because it's yellow, and that would make him turn yellow. Mm-hmm. That's what you're suggesting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also, my main reason for the other one that you just put away as well too, the Deathclaw whatever, is that's not enough of a highlight.
Okay.
It's not bright enough for me. It's not enough of a tonal change because what you're grabbing for, essentially, as far as value goes, is on the same value as everything else. Green?
No, right? I mean, like, I think I know the answer. I just want to make sure.
No, I think it'd be great. I think you should do it.
Okay, so no moot green here. Okay, so then based on that, you can see some of the colors I have here. Mm-hmm. What are you leaning towards? So initially, my first instinct would be for this one, which is Typhon Ash. Yes. Which is now let me ask you this because and this is almost a weird GW air question. They have so many airs that are in this tan bone range. Mm-hmm. And you are picking Typhon Ash because it is the lightest. Because I did go. This was. Lightest. I'm not as silly. I am silly, but I'm not as incompetent as. You're trying to pretend to be. Well, to be honest with you, Deathclaw Brown is already on him, but small amounts. Right. And actually, I think it is almost one of the highest up colors, but. So I did go today, and I did purchase a bunch of their bone range, and their bone range is so. It's honestly like great for this because it's so gradiated. Like this is actually very good gradation for the Citadel airline. Mm-hmm. So you would actually say, start with the lightest. Yeah. And then I'm basically toning things back down. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because for highlighting and putting shadows in or whatever, I like to go in extremes because I don't like keeping things like within the same range of everything because you're not actually getting that effect. If you go, oh, this is too much,
spray it where you would highlight it, and then essentially you're going to fade that into everything else, because that will give you the most amount of contrast. Because still right now, even with the shadows that you put in, everything basically looks the same, right? If you were to take a black and white picture of Kragnos right now, do you think you would actually be able to see the highlights on his skin as they are currently?
Maybe a couple spots.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But like up here on his pack, or like maybe on his, whatever this part of a horse is called. I want to say
rump.
rump.
Yeah.
Okay. So now when I do this, am I going in small areas?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna like basically spread out from that.
Yeah. So I would go where you want your highlights to be, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're painting a. It's similar to glazing when you're painting with a brush, right? And you can glaze with an airbrush as well too. You're painting a wider area than necessary because you're going to be kind of closing it in and tightening up that with the other colors that you're going to be putting around.
And the nice thing is, like we said earlier, these other colors are actually the erasers as well.
Yeah.
It could be thought of that way. Anyway. Okay, this is immediately
Immediately it looks highlighted.
Immediately.
Yes.
Done.
Yes.
Done.
we're done.
Michael Keaton,
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Whatever. The judge, yeah.
Yeah. So while you do that, I'm going to go through a couple more super chats.
Oh, please, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rudy Picardo. Hey, Hobby Titans. I plan on investing in an airbrush this fall, but I am incognizant.
This guy's been painting a million.
I know. I'm
square
very surprised.
feet of
By
terrain.
hand,
I don't know
yes.
how he's okay.
But I am incognizant about what you need and additional products for indoor use, not just a compressor. What do you recommend for airbrush brands and products for first timers?
You know what? I have blabbed about this a lot, and you have blabbed about it only a medium amount. So you take the first go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one advice I got when I was getting into hobby painting, because I started airbrushing, a lot of times I get asked, okay, well, what's a beginner airbrush? What's a good airbrush for my first time? Yada, yada, yada. My philosophy of thought is get an airbrush that you can grow into, because a lot of what airbrushing is muscle memory and knowing how your one in particular airbrush works. How far you need to push the needle down, how far you need to pull it back, trigger down, and how far you need to pull the needle back will vary very minutely between even airbrushes of the same brand and the same make and stuff like that.
Hopefully not too much,
No.
but minutely is the right word. For
Yeah.
that, I think, right?
Yeah. This is your airbrush.
I'm
That's my
having,
airbrush.
I'm having an issue with my Sotar. I actually ordered a new one today. And
Yeah.
I'm borrowing this one from Kat, and I can feel a little.
It's different.
It feels a little springier than I'm used
it's
to,
different.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's different, but because that's my main thing is you want to get used to using that airbrush, because the moment you get a beginner airbrush like a Patriot or even just something from, I don't know, like an $80 kit from Hobby Lobby or something, you'll start to notice the limitations that it puts on you, and then you want to go further and you want to do more, and then you're just investing more money that you could have initially just invested in the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's my main thing. As far as airbrushes go, I really like the Sotar from Badger.
That's this guy right here.
My main airbrush is the Infinity from Harder & Steinbeck. I know a lot of people like Iwatas. I've never used an Iwata, but if you're going to go the Iwata route, you're kind of essentially stuck with Iwatas until you can kind of get your hands on a different airbrush, because the trigger for Iwatas is very different than the trigger for Badgers or even Harder & Steinbeck. So look into a Sotar, look into an Infinity. Now, for painting like massive amounts of models and terrain and stuff, they're probably not going to be great. If you're looking to get an airbrush to paint terrain with, then I would go with a Patriot.
Yeah.
Now, that when you start getting into models will limit up to a point. You can get, your basing done and everything like that, but even Zach has switched to a finer airbrush, and you airbrush a lot more of your model than I would to do something like this, right? Like the Patriot only goes down so far.
Absolutely. Now, like, I'll be honest, I think my Marathi came out okay. I'm pretty happy when she came out. I, again, probably will at some point between now and Old Town Throwdown or at least SoCal work on her a little bit more. But I did do a lot of her with the Patriot, only because my Sotar has been acting up a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's quite a big model, right? So, like, yeah, that's kind of the thing. But you're not wrong. Otherwise, I would say the Patriot has served me very well. I had one. I got a second one when my first one kind of crapped out after like 4 or 5 years because I didn't take care of it, but it still would last me that long. Then I've gotten a third one. I just replaced some parts in it. And parts are readily available for it. They're easy to replace. It's easy to work on. I was telling Megan as I was sitting there the other day, I was like, wow, I'm becoming like this guy that can actually like rebuild an airbrush. Like, so a Patriot anyway. So I've always recommended the Patriot first, but what Kat is saying is actually also worth considering. The Patriot is going to be more limited, and so I did get a lot of mileage out of my Patriot before I was like, you know what, I need to level up here and get a Sotar. But there's a lot of things you can just do with the Sotar. Here is why I would, though, in all honesty, Kat. The big reason, I'm not saying this overrides what you're saying, but the one thing to consider is that I don't have a lot of problems running Citadel Air through a Sotar, and these are bones and creams, and they just did it without needing to be thinned. Patriot's literally like I've loaded Citadel.
You can almost put like craft paint through a Patriot.
You almost can, and literally if you're like, oh, I need to run this craft paint through my Patriot for like the next half hour, you could probably like add a little bit of water into the craft paint bottle.
If Adrian was here, he'd be like, yeah, you could definitely run a craft paint through a Patriot.
He uses an Iwata though. But he should use a Patriot because he loves his craft paints.
Yeah.
But no, it's people always say it's a workhorse, and what do they mean by that? No, they do mean it's not going to break on you, although it could. Any airbrush could, but I think what they mean is that you can really run anything through it. And so
it's going to be your old faithful, essentially.
I think so, and I think one of the biggest things that when people do get airbrushes and are like, oh, I'm having, this is frustrating, I don't like it. It's failure, right? It's that it's hard. It's not working.
It's different.
It's different, and it's not. Troubleshooting sucks.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have like a friend right there who's like super knowledgeable about it, right, ready to help you at a moment's notice, troubleshooting can really suck on an airbrush. And I would say the Patriot has maybe the biggest community online in the world of people that'll help you troubleshoot a Patriot. Maybe the most amount of videos online. Yeah.
It also Badger has a really good customer service program where you can also send in your airbrush,
which I need to do with this.
This is what I keep telling you. You're like, I'm having trouble. I'm like, just send it in. You can send it in. They'll essentially clean it and, replace any parts that need replacing for you, send it back to you, and then
you pay the shipping.
You pay whatever you need to pay, right? If they're going to replace a part, you pay for that part. Yeah. But for the most part, if they just need to like do a deep clean on it or something, you just pay for shipping for... It depends, really.
It's also very easy to clean.
Yes.
It's easy to clean. It's easy to repair yourself. If you want to go down that route. I, for 7 years, have not, but now I am. And it's easy to not have problems in the first place. And that's a silly way of saying it has less problems than Sotar. Yeah. I honestly feel like it has less problems than my friends who have Iwatas. I like the feel of an Iwata. It's also a good airbrush.
Yes, it's great. It's great. The trigger's very different though, so you wouldn't be able to jump from an Iwata to a Badger to an Infinity, but you can jump pretty easily from a Badger to an Infinity or a harder Steinbeck. One, it doesn't have to be an Infinity, but Yeah, I think the cool thing about the Badger is that you can buy the parts individually. It'd be like building your own kind of PC sort of thing instead of like buying an Apple product where it's like everything's in house or whatever. So there is that. It depends on what you want to do. As far as compressors go, I would get a compressor that has, you know, at least a gallon tank to it. I don't like the ones that are tankless. They wear out so fast because they're constantly turning on, turning off, and they're oilless engines essentially. So you're heating it up, and then it's like mushing itself together and stuff. So there's a lot of wear and tear that goes onto them. They're very nice and portable, but if you're going to be airbrushing for longer than like an hour, you're just killing your compressor at that point.
Yeah, I echo all of this. Now, one thing is actually maybe not on today's video because he helped us out and Adrian actually put a bunch of today's video up. And I don't think he did it from a template that we usually do. But if you look at any of our other videos, Rudy, that I know you've watched, you'll always see we on almost all of them, like you can go last week, you'll see that we have a link. It's an Amazon link, and it will take you to the compressor we use, which are great. And the compressor we use is funny. It's I don't necessarily, everybody in chat was probably already mentioned this. I don't actually know that anyone knows the real brand name of this thing. It's sort of like a brandless product on Amazon. And I've certainly heard people who've gone it, turned it on. It's like someone was telling us this last week. Just like starts putting out smoke and is busted right away. But I've had 3 of them now. I've one at home. We have 2 here. And my original one at home has outlasted my Badger Patriot. I got it in 2015, 16, and I used it a lot. I just painted most of the Daughters of Cain army with it, and it is old. And I don't think I don't beat it up, but I don't think I take amazing care of it.
You don't really need to, other than like maybe putting Teflon tape on the seals and stuff.
Well, what you need to do actually is every now and then you need to unscrew the bottom of the tank and let everything out.
Yeah. Empty it completely every once in a while. It's not like a necessary thing.
I literally did that today with the 2 here in the studio. But you'll see, Rudy, there's a link, and we actually have like a link to like kind of a default airbrush setup that we like to recommend, and it is the Badger Patriot and this. But I stand by what Kat's saying too. Like it's sort of tough. Like you can grow into a Sotar. You can grow into
an Infinity. Yeah.
Whereas I'm just not sure, but I don't know, Rudy, if you're painting as much terrain
as you are,
Patriot's amazing.
Yeah, but because I know you paint models as well too, so honestly, I think a Sotar and Infinity. I've painted terrain with an Infinity. I've painted terrain with a Sotar. It can be done. You're just constantly refilling the cup, essentially.
It also seems like he's due for not painting terrain for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, can I show you where Cragnose is?
Yeah, definitely.
Looking, I think pretty good. I've gone 2 of the 3 colors I was gonna highlight him up, and you're right. At first, I was a little shocked by the ash color. It made him look kind of ashy, but as I've started to bring it back down, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, to recap Kat's technique here, we actually you could think of it as I painted Kragnos up to a pretty decent level, and I did shade him up from dark to medium tone, and then I did a little bit of highlighting. Then I launched forward just today and max highlight, put the max highlight spots in. Now I'm bringing it back down to that medium level.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting approach. It seems weird, but it's actually working quite well. I'm almost Brad and I have always used this term, the color of the thing, right? And I almost got Cragnose to the color of Cragnose, and now I launch forward, highlight him like crazy, and now I'm bringing him back down to his color.
Yeah.
So I'm into it.
Yeah, I like this technique mostly just because it kind of breaks you of thinking. Essentially, you're just kind of like, okay, I have a highlight color in my airbrush. I'm going to paint it where the highlights are. And if I go, oh my God, it looks crazy, you kind of have to force yourself to break through that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then trust that you can bring it back down to a non-crazy level.
Yeah.
which is fairly simple because you already painted him the color of the thing,
Right.
and you already have that color, and you know what you want him to be at. But when it comes to highlighting and shadows, we tend to go, oh, well, I don't want to do too much because it's going to change him. I don't want to do too much because it's going to change the color.
Right.
And you kind of have to break yourself of that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's kind of funny because I liked how medium tone he was, and that's really like a bland thing to say. That's like saying like, oh man, I really like how unseasoned these mashed potatoes are. But at the same time, now that I'm like pushing it out a little bit, I'm liking this as well. And that's so normal. I actually use that analogy a lot. Like you don't know how good something could be until you push
Put some salt on it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like that because that's my main thing about competitions is like getting the feedback and then going back and being like, okay, cool. This is how I want to do it. This is, the changes that I want to make. And I don't always retouch up models that I've done for a competition. Maybe because like it's a little bit difficult to do so because, as you said, he's on his base. There's nothing you can do about it. And sometimes there's like some bases where I'm just like, I can no longer get to this model, but now I know, and I'm going to keep in mind for my next model, okay, I'm going to push my highlights, or I'm going to push my storytelling, or I'm going to make my blends better, or something like that.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm super excited how he's coming out here.
That's awesome.
But I think I'm ready to put back the medium kind of Kragnos color a little bit in a couple spots.
Yeah, and I was mentioning to you before because there's so much you can do with a airbrush, and especially a Sotar where you can get really fine with it. Mm-hmm. But really consider going back in with a brush and like getting his ribs or something.
Yeah, like Kat pointed out some spots, like he's got his rib cage right here.
Yeah.
And even just like little places where the muscles bump up.
Yeah, and just really highlighting his sculpt, right? Because his sculpt is great.
That's a great way of phrasing it, highlighting the sculpt.
Yeah.
And I also need to go up a level in the hair.
Yeah.
In a few places, especially more prominent areas, and on his hair horns. Whatever those are. What's going on there exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's get into some other super chats. There you go. That's the name for it. Liberty Fires. Kat and Zach. Again, Liberty Fires.
Thank you, Liberty Fires.
Thank you so much. Kat, talk to me about basing models. Do you use temporary bases before finishing painting? What do you use to keep your models on bases? I don't paint my models on bases. I'm not doing that for this guy, mostly just because he's like huge. And I'm just touching him. That's totally fine. But I'm being very careful when I put him down because I don't want to scrape off any paint that I already have on him. But when it comes to smaller models, I just blue tack them, and this is just like poster tack.
She literally has it right here.
Yeah. It's just literally poster tack. You can find it in like the office supply areas of most places that have like sort of like an office supply aisle. Sometimes it's white, but I like the blue mostly just because it sticks out to me.
Yeah.
But you use like a white version of it?
I use I use like a window caulking stuff.
Yeah.
And when you pull anything off of it, you have to make sure you give it a yank.
Oh, okay.
And it'll break it. It'll break the bond. Because if you pull slowly, it'll go with it.
Yeah, kind of very similar to this. And the more you work it in your hands, the softer it gets as well. Because when you first get it, it's like really hard. But you warm it up and you work it up or whatever. But the thing I like about it is that it sticks to itself, but it doesn't want to permanently stick to anything else, really. And so then you can use it to like clean up little things and stuff. But I don't put them on bases, mostly just so I can like paint all angles of them. I find when you put stuff on bases, even temporary bases, it hides stuff from you and you can't like get your brush in at the right angle or something.
Yeah, I've noticed you and I both are fairly aggressive. The base is a separate entity than the model.
Yeah.
It should look good together, but I never assemble a model onto a base or
Yeah.
even a temporary base.
There's been a couple times where I've painted models on bases on here,
Yeah.
but it's because like either that model didn't stick to something or I couldn't find something to stick it to, or whatever. Knowing myself, I know I'm going to cut it back off again, and it's just simply like I need to have it stand on the glam cam or something.
You know what?
But,
Yeah, right. You know, I've never really had a lot of problems with like paint coming off my model as my hand handles it, but I do with like the airbrush base coats. But it is one of the reasons I always edge highlight fairly late in the process. I typically do steps. My steps on a model are often ranked in terms of what will come off with my fingers. And, you know, so I airbrush first. I almost never have had airbrush paint come off. Like, I don't typically look and be like, oh, I've been touching his thigh or I've been touching the sword a lot and the paint has come off. So I do that first, and I typically do like recess washing because that's never going to come off, right?
Yeah.
And then like usually we do edge highlighting, but I know that's a major concern for people. If your process puts a step that does come off under your fingers easily first, then you do need something to hold it with. Actually, at the speed painting competition Meg and I were at, they gave us like a thing to stick it to, and both Meg and I were like, I'm not going to use this.
Oh, okay.
I've never used like the model holder. You know, I have all these corks. I never use any of them unless I'm like literally sub-assembly airbrushing. Do you have something that you ever have like felt like you needed to hold a model with a model holder? Or?
Yeah. I don't use the Games Workshop like handle or whatever. I have a handle that one of my friends made me, but it's literally just made out of like a rounded knob sort of bedpost thing, and he just cut the knob part off of it and then put a magnet on top of it and
really
like flushed it
special.
with whatever. I never use the magnet, and I just use this, but it fits nicely in my hand. It's not super big, and then it allows me to turn the model every which way, and so I can look at different angles and stuff.
Right.
But it's nothing fancy. It's just, it was free and I like it. I like the way it feels in my hand. And that's pretty much it. But for the most part, like if I'm painting a big model, I'll just handle it with my hands, and I'll try not to like rub, essentially. Like I know that if I held him by his tail, that like these little points on the end of his tail will rub off. But that's pretty much it. And I try to like hold him in a pretty solid spot. But yeah, other than that, it's nothing crazy or super fancy. Basing to me is almost like the other half of the model.
Yeah.
So I do that later.
Certainly from like a storytelling perspective, right?
Yeah.
Basing kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So it depends on what I plan for the bases. But that essentially just comes later. But it depends on what it is. If it's a bunch of infantrymen that I'm all painting at the same time, then maybe I'll put them on their bases, and then I'll eventually like break them off. That's also why a lot of my models maybe have like broken feet or something or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I'll just rip them off the base. That's fine. I trust myself enough to be able to like glue it back on and not have it look
Figure it out
like
later.
it was broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I use Poster Tech. If that should answer that question essentially. But yeah, it's blue, and you get like a whole thing of it, and this is like maybe like 4 chunks or something.
Yeah.
And
And it's cheap and it lasts a while.
it
You can
lasts
reuse
for
it.
so long. I bought.
Oh, until you drop it onto carpet, then it's done.
Then I'm gonna throw it away.
It's immediate.
I'm not picking hair out of it or
it's
anything like
immediate-
that.
You're
Yeah.
immediately like, oh, cool. That I dropped one, like, and then like literally the next day I was in here and Adrian dropped a glob of mine, and it was like, oh, cool, that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's chat LVO. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. So the painting program for the LVO is not up yet, but it will be soon. There is just a lot, and which is actually kind of pretty exciting. But because I worked on it, I get to give you guys like a sneak preview.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, and also even better because we talked about competition and the cool thing about competition, and the value you can get out of a painting class and stuff. So yeah, so this is the official LVO hobby program Instagram. I post a bunch of like updates on there. I currently haven't posted anything since last year, or this past LVO stuff, but the moment that the painting program stuff goes live, we'll be posting it on there and then blasting out just a bunch of information for all of the classes. You get to see the entries for the painting competition from last year. I keep wanting to say last year. It was literally just January of this year.
I mean,
sorry.
But that's
I guess the previous LVO,
though,
right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so this year we have, This year we have 6 master classes. Last year we had 3. Andy Wardle, Matt DiPietro, and Caleb did the ones for last year. We have added on Ben Comets, Matt Sexrich, and Steve Garcia for this year. If you guys aren't following any of these guys on Instagram, honestly, you really, really, really should. If any of you guys went to Adepticon last year or saw any of the Golden Demon entries, I know Andy won gold in the diorama category. Ben Comets got silver in the dual category. He was the one who had the Saint Celestine with the giant dragon thing with the stained glass like in the background. That was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Steve won gold in that category. And Matt, I'm blanking. But Matt actually is big in many other industries. He actually did a bunch of work and like real life effect stuff for Cyberpunk for CD Projekt Red. He did their giant statue that sits in their headquarters of this like motorcycle like hitting some dude, and this guy is on top of it and like shooting a gun and stuff. So he actually does a lot of like practical stuff other than just modeling.
So what is the master class? Like what does that mean like when you take that, right?
Yeah. So the master class is a full weekend long thing. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some of the teachers do day 0 stuff on Thursday. But it's a full like 6 hours each and every single day, except for Sunday. I think it cuts short with that teacher, and you are starting from scratch and painting essentially to completion a model that entire weekend with this one teacher. And yeah, you also get a bunch of free cool stuff along with it. Last year we did a full set of Artist Opus brushes.
Which is pretty cool.
Red Grass Games, extra large wet palette, get a free t-shirt. You get all the paints, essentially everything you need for that class except for a hotel room if you're going to be traveling in for that. It's provided with the cost of that class. So you get breakfast and lunch. You get all of your paints, all of your hobby supplies. You get everything essentially, and there's smaller class sizes as well too, so you get a lot more like intimate one-on-one time with the instructor, and there's no like, I needed to ask a question but we ran out of time. Like for the most part you're gonna get this. So
and the best kind of approach probably, what do you think, like to check some of these teachers out on Instagram and be like, oh, I like this guy's work, or I like this person's work, and so as a result like this is like who I want to like spend 3 days learning from? Yeah,
essentially. That would be my number one suggestion, because really what they're going to be painting is kind of up to them. I know Matt has already decided on his model, but some of them haven't. And it's just essentially like you get to learn this person's technique completely. You get a more in-depth thing with them. It's almost like if you were doing like private tutoring with them or something. But then on top of that, you get all the paint and the brushes and everything. That
Yeah,
you need
I
to
mean,
get,
I think it, like from the music ed world, it's fair to say it's pretty much it's like semi-private.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be in class with 12 people over 3 days.
Yeah, only those people as well too.
Yeah.
It's not switching in and out with anybody or anything like that.
Yeah, and like we did this. We did this in when I was teaching music composition for high school kids, and it was almost like we sort of guaranteed a set amount of time where I'd sit down with each kid, blah blah blah. But like this is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
He's going to go around. They're going to go around. They're going to sit and they're going to talk this stuff, right? 101. Like we were saying earlier, right? Like here's your model. Here's like let's talk about what's going on in your particular case. Probably don't have to tell people here, and we are literally sitting here in a YouTube channel, but that's a lot better than a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
It's very similar to like, hey, I entered this competition. Now tell me what to do. I am literally in the middle of painting this model.
Right.
Tell me like how I can improve this step that I just did, or where do I go from here?
Right.
And so these are really cool. Definitely worth the price. Highly, highly, highly recommend if you are not going to be doing any of like the tournaments and stuff. If you're just going to LVO for the painting stuff, I would definitely check this out. But yeah, these were a big hit last year, so we added 3 more instructors for this year, and I'm excited. A lot of these guys, all of these guys, I would consider a good friend, and they're super awesome. They're really good teachers as well too, which is very important for us.
Yeah.
When we like vet people to bring in for us.
Yeah.
When we like vet people to bring in.
In other words, not just people that are good at painting, because those people might not necessarily be good teachers.
Yeah, exactly. We are adding something new this next year, which are long classes. They are 2-day classes, not a full weekend. And you don't get the cool swag with like the paint and stuff, but it's cool if maybe you like scrub out your first day or something like that with the competition, or maybe you're just there to check things out. But these are 2-day classes, or 6 hours long each, so about 12 hours total with this instructor. But yeah, I'm sure many of you guys probably already know Ninja and Miniac, but they are going to be teaching a class together. There's Eric Swinson and Will Hahn, who I think is making his teaching debut at Nova this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he is amazing. And I know Eric Swinson has been a mentor to him as well too. I wish I remembered what Eric Swinson won gold for in, I think gold or silver at the Golden Demon, but I know that Will took silver in the vehicle category at the Golden Demon. So I would definitely check out all of these guys' Instagram pages. But yeah, they're very much like the master classes. They're just not as long, and then they're cheaper as well too, because you don't get the swag and whatever. So yeah. And then traditional classes. So traditional classes are what I mentioned earlier. They are the 2-hour-long classes, or the 4-hour-long, or maybe 6-hour-long classes that you can kind of fit in the middle of your day, or if you have extra time, or if your competition doesn't start until, I don't know, maybe it goes Friday, Saturday, and then you have Sunday free.
That's going to be the reality for most people, right?
Yeah. Or maybe you're doing just Saturday or just Sunday or something like that, because maybe you're doing like Malifaux or a smaller game or something. So yeah, that's what these guys do. Anthony Wang entered the really cool, super awesome squig in the AOS side of Golden Demon. But it was the one that was like blasting off into the sky, and he was on a rocket, and it was really cool and super bright. Lynn and Yeji both don't do Golden Demon, but Lynn and Yeji have been teachers for a very, 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 very long time. Yeji does like a lot of like comic booky style stuff, and Lynn is very good with like dynamic lighting and moody lighting and stuff. It's awesome. Clay, actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but I think like a couple weeks ago, we featured a really cool chaos knight that had like the chaos emblem almost like branded into his shoulder, and that is clay. And Ricardo and Francesco are both new to our lineup, and they are fantastic teachers. I'm super, super excited to have them in. And they teach all the time at Adepticon, and so if any of you guys have taken their classes, then definitely give them a shout out, I guess. But this is going to be their first time coming to LVO, and I'm really excited about it. So
yeah, I this is like such a cheesy thing to say, but I wish I could split into multiple people.
Well, I know that you mentioned that Meg will be doing a bunch of classes and stuff. So
yeah, Meg will have to figure out what she's gonna do. Maybe I know someone that can help her with that. It's Kat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to. I'm excited. Yeah, she took some classes at BAO and enjoyed it. So very excited. Very excited to get the room with Meg and not
rooming with someone else.
Somebody else. Which nowadays for me, I'm kind of like the Rio has these weird mirrors in the shower that look out into the main room.
Oh, the windows. Some of them do.
Yeah,
some of them do, because my room did not.
Yeah,
and a lot of other people's rooms that I knew.
That's just
did
like
not.
an immediate hard pass for me.
It's Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what, guys? What?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny because I think a lot of hotels do that actually, or they have like the tubs in the middle of the room or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple questionable hotel setups, and I don't get it. Like, that's not. Is that what people want that part to be different when they go on vacation? I just don't.
I don't know. It's Vegas. To me, I just go, oh, that sounds like Vegas. But yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, guys, painting program's not up
like, anyway,
yet.
Let's stay focused here.
We're gonna move on for that. Painting program's not up yet, but it will be soon. So definitely keep an eye on that. And if you want any updates or anything like that, follow the Instagram page for the LVO. We also have a Discord this year just for the painting program. And so any of you guys who join anybody's classes, there are special rooms for each classroom, for each teacher and stuff. And so if you want to then get in touch with anybody who's in the class, or maybe your instructor has special instructions, it just improving communication in all regards, essentially, which I'm very excited for. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And that's also probably why when you were like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm really tired," because I've been doing that.
Yeah.
So
when it's a little early to start talking about this, of course we'll go over it again as we get closer to LVO, which by the way is like half a year away.
Yeah.
Not even that close right now.
Yeah, it's crazy though, but tickets sell out so fast.
Oh, I think like I know the Sigmar event has way less tickets than the 40K event, but I know it was like 2/3 sold out already. It might even be
done at this point. Yeah.
Done now. That was like last night. There's a lot less tickets, and last year they ended up opening more tickets for it, but I was like not messing around this year. I just bought them.
Yeah, because I think what happens is a lot of people like get them, and then as we get closer to the event, maybe like something comes up and they can't go, and they drop, and so that opens up a bit more. So, yeah.
Hey, so I'm going over with the brush, and I actually am starting with the second highlight, my second brightest color. And I'm it's going well. I'm into it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I was a little bit nervous. Honestly, I'm often a little bit nervous to go over nicely airbrushed, when I think it's nice anyway, airbrush stuff with
a brush.
Yeah. But using the actual airbrush paint itself, literally the exact same paint you just used,
helps.
Helps a bit because it's a thin consistency.
It's also a skill that you need to like build up.
And wet palette helps.
Yeah.
Having the right tools and having those tools in good working order and being a little more familiar with them. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely like, yeah. And also Seth's in the chat, and he is head organizer for the painting program as well too. So if anybody has any questions, you guys can definitely hit him up.
I was going to ask you, where do people find you during LVO? Like, where can people find?
I am usually in the like hobby hangout area, hobby lounge area place where if you have a hobby access pass, you can gain access to this area. If you need to paint up a model during the competition, we have
How do you get a
tables.
hobby access pass?
It'll be part of the thing, yeah.
Can I just buy a hobby access pass?
Yeah,
What
you
is it?
can. So that will grant you.
I mean, I'm going to have to because Megan is in it. So like, if I ever want to see her, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, so that will let you enter the competition if you want to enter the competition.
Ooh,
It
definitely
also will grant you access to the speed painting area.
Wait, who judges the competition?
So
If it's you, I can't.
it's not me.
Okay.
It's not me. Seth is lead judge.
Oh, I still probably can't. I probably shouldn't enter.
But
Do you enter? You can't really enter either, huh?
I can, because I don't judge.
But isn't the fact that we know Seth bad?
No. See, okay, so we're
Seth will have integrity about it?
Yes, Seth has a lot of integrity. All of our judges do.
Seth won't just be like, oh yeah, I know these guys.
Yeah, no, I'm
Give it
going to
to
give him a 0.
Kragnos. Ooh, give it to that Cragnose over there.
Yeah, no, he's not like that.
Well, we'll
and none of our judges are,
No,
actually.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I just wonder, I'm glad that they still let you enter competitions.
Yeah. And actually, the LVO, I think of 2019, 2018 was the first competition I entered. Because it was the easiest for me. Because I just like stuck my model on the van as everything got, sent over. And I didn't have to fly with it or anything like that. Because flying with a model is not fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Guys, can everyone in chat just like take a moment? Everyone who plays these events, just take a moment to understand what Kat just said. She was like, oh, flying with a model.
A
is not
singular model.
Oh, I
Yes.
can't be bothered to fly with my plague angel. Oh my gosh.
It's very nerve-wracking.
It is
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I've flown with an army once.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to do it to Nova. Or any future non-West Coast events I go to.
Yeah.
But I'm into driving and road trips, so like it's not. Normally that's what I'll do if I can, but it's not always going to be like that.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, judges for the paint competition. Seth is head judge. I mentioned a Will Hahn as an instructor. We have a different Will Hahn.
Two Will Hahns.
Who is a judge.
That can be confusing, probably.
Yeah, so we call him Will Hahn Prime, and then younger Will Hahn is Will Hahn 2.0.
Okay.
And there's been many jokes about how we were very surprised that they could exist in the same room together. The universe still exists, even though they like shook hands.
It's like not that weird of a name, but it's also just like not.
It's also very strange that they're both into high-level miniature painting as well too. Yeah. And then Andy is a judge as well too. I don't know if Matt DiPietro is going to do it this year because I think he talked about maybe entering.
Okay. So that would definitely be. That's
Yeah.
where you draw a little line.
Yeah, you can't enter if you're going to be a judge.
That's just so everybody knows at home. That doesn't go on.
Yeah, so
None of that.
there's that. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't know who we're going to get to replace him, but I know Caleb judged last year as well. But I'm sure out of all the instructors that we have, we can find somebody. So yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I really want tickets to go up, but I understand it's a huge program, so it'll take a little bit. But it is happening for anyone who is confused about the tournament stuff going up.
Yeah.
And then not seeing any of the painting stuff.
Yeah.
It's still happening. It just was a huge program this year. So, yeah. We might also just add to it as well too. This is the information that I have right now. But who knows? Maybe something will work its way out of the woodwork, and I'll be able to add to, whatever. But if any of you guys don't know who any of the teachers are that I mentioned, I would definitely look them up on Instagram, because everyone is amazing at their craft and what they do.
Yeah, it'd be bad to hire bad teachers and bad.
Yeah, it would be awful. I think it would be really weird.
Not good at painting at all.
Be super awkward, I think.
It'd be awkward. Yeah. It'd be really weird. Those people would know right away.
Yeah. So
and you guys would get some complaints.
Awesome. Going into more super chats. Thank you, Broken Chef, again. Thank you for the goal of painting competition conversation. Sorry. It helped me with the struggles. As for LVO, I am in champs. Oh my God, I forgot. John is a fiend.
LVO 40K champs or AOS champs? What did he say?
That just champs.
Oh, at me, Broken Chef. Are you doing 40K? You doing AOS? Mm-hmm. I think all the Titans have bought their tickets. I
would hope so. Yeah, considering how fast everything sells out. Yeah. I definitely have my ticket for the painting comp. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I do something this year. I did not do anything last year, but I did do the Resin Bees competition at Adepticon, so I need to get back into it. Thank you, John Shepard. Thanks to everyone in Discord for the constant inspiration. Also, Zach, what do you think about making the hair on a Cragnose a more red saturation to contrast the greens?
Well, that's a great question. That's actually about where I'm at right now. I'm getting ready to move on to Cragnose's hair.
Ooh, let's take a look at that.
So here's kind of how he's looking so far. I had to fix this right here, but I am. So it is already slightly reddish, if you can see there. This I really have to. This is obnoxious. Okay, so it is already slightly reddish, but oddly enough, I actually did grab Wordbearer's Red today to try out on some of his hair. Now the hair down here and the hair up here are actually two different hues. This is all kind of reddish, and this is more brown, but I actually may still introduce some red up here. The problem is this red really actually is honestly darker than where he's at currently. So that's not good for a highlight or a low light, because I think the low lights are darker. So this red's really not going to be good. But this is where I might actually use this Deathclaw Brown in small amounts.
Because it's orangey?
To do a little bit of highlighting with like a little bit of brush highlighting, yeah. And then I had to figure out what I'm going to do on his top. Oh, Broken Chef's doing AOS. Oh, cool, Broken Chef. That'll be fun. I'll get to meet you and play some AOS near you. Likely not against you because of odds, but that would be super awesome if we did get to play. So anyway, looking forward to meeting you. And I did get to meet a lot of cool peeps at the BAO. You guys have probably seen Hamsterdam. I don't think he's here today, fan, but I got to meet him and chat with him, AOS, and he also plays a Suryani, like Craft World Eldar, like me, in 40K. So kind of a cool guy for me to meet up with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to meet. I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 people. I definitely got to meet Michael Cody. Not everyone told me their like usernames, so I don't want to like blast anybody out.
I usually ask.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, what was your username? Like, how would I know you? Or, yeah, you gotta ask, because it's like it can be weird otherwise, right? Like.
Yeah, unless they just are not in chat usually. Maybe they just watch or something.
That's true too.
I think that's fine.
That we have that, right?
Yeah, but I did meet Kaldorf, not at BAO, but just at one of the stores recently.
Yeah, which I didn't think I realized he was local.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I was helping out a customer, and I guess he said that he recognized my voice, and then he was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Kaldorf." And I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome." So
yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's right nearby. So that's cool. I had no clue he was local. sometimes the guys know, and we just like don't think to tell each other this kind of stuff.
It's so new to me and so like very exciting that like anytime anything happens, I immediately tell you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I just met this person, and you guys just give thumbs up, and I'm like, neat. So yeah,
No,
but that was awesome.
Very exciting. Yeah, I definitely have to look at this guy outside of light to see how these highlights are doing, because the light of the lamp almost like helps blend mistakes of the highlight.
It almost like makes it look like it's highlighted already.
Yeah,
as well too.
And so like, it creates like this weird blend look that like makes it look better, and then when you pull it away, like this is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Earlier, you're saying like then you notice like oh. So there's a little bit of that going on, and you end up kind of actually like weirdly wanting to paint in the dark. Very weird.
Almost dark, yeah.
Yeah, like this, like right, like not the best lighting, but
yeah. No, and I like it, and it's kind of very similar to like a previous question we've gotten on here is like, do we use magnifying glasses or whatever? It just makes you focus on different things, and it also changes your view to the point where then it looks really good. This one spot looks really good on using the magnifying glasses, but when I like pull it out into normal lighting without the magnification, it just looks a little weird.
Yeah, not so much.
So yeah, I think to me at least it follows the same opinion of sorts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But speaking of meeting fans, I think we should get into fan stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we both kind of went through and looked at some fan stuff this time, right?
Yeah, you picked out maybe half, I picked out the other half, but which half we picked out, I don't even think you will know, because you were like, that's really cool, and I'm like, yeah, you picked that one out.
Yeah, well, so this Tyranid, he really did like this molted pattern that's just like super nice. Nice is a weird word to use, but I mean, that's what I'm going to stick with. It's like a molting yellow and green kind of thing going on. There were a number of models like this, and this was, I think, kind of the best shot. But I love that about Tyranid. You can really kind of like
do whatever.
You get like these little blank canvases to just like be like, cool, mini blank canvas. Here I go.
Yeah. I like that a lot. If I were to do a 40K army, I was like, what would I want to do? How much freedom can I get with something? But yeah, this is really cool. I like when people put patterns on stuff, because I noticed that there's like some really cool polka dotted stuff on it as well too. And it looks simple, but I know painting small little circles like that can be kind of a pain to get them all to look good.
Right.
As well. So.
Yeah. Well, Tyranids are an interesting army, because you can get this like freedom to like plate the carapace and stuff. But the problem then can be that then you have to do that, or a version of that typically.
A billion times.
Yeah. And, I think, we always say like, oh, you can do different things. And I don't know, guys, Tyranids, one of those armies kind of like feels a little weird when it doesn't all quite look like it matches. Like, so I don't know. Maybe,
okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's like a hive. They're like a hive of bugs.
You can't have two different hives, right?
No.
Teaming up with each other, it just seems weird.
I guess you can do anything, right? But as far as that goes, they look impressive when it's just like boom all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
coconut crab effect. Yep.
There are a bunch of different pictures of a couple different models that this person has painted like this and similarly to this. I don't know if I'm making up a false memory in my head, but I think some of them are also different colors. But the pattern's the same.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But maybe I was looking at it cross-eyed or something. I don't know. I think this looks really cool.
Just like,
yeah.
I
just need a different perspective.
What if I just like cross my eyes and look at this thing?
Yeah, it's different colors and different different perspectives. So anyway, yeah, this is really cool though. And this dude, I wish I knew what it was, but I do remember the caption that went along with it was something about anxiety and that they finally finished their first model, either first model ever or first model since getting back into it.
Right.
Which
I saw
impressive
this as
either
well.
way. And this is really cool. I also just like the sculpt of this guy as well. I really like dynamic sculpts, and I find that Games Workshop is leading more into that anyway. But I thought this was like very, very, very well done. I like
Yeah.
the silver and the gold together. I think a lot of people,
Go one or the other.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, this is crazy good. This is some kind of Adeptus Custodes, I think, which are very gold and red, and I do like you're saying, the way they work the silver and the blue. Yeah, it's great.
It makes him look very Roman legionnaire.
Yeah,
Yes,
which is like the look, right? But
Yeah.
really also cool base, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I like it. I like the different tufts. I like it all. This is really cool. I like the sword as well too. I like the blue touch in there.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Now this was your pick.
Oh yeah, these guys just look great, man. There's been some crazy, just well painted. People really digging this new Ranger kit that has come out, and me too. I've painted them up. I don't think I did quite as good of a job as this person, but some of the Ranger kits that we've been getting in the fan group here over the past couple months have just been crazy. This is just like very well painted. I mean, like the color scheme's cool, but there's the thing I want to say about it is it's just like a really good paint job. Like you would submit this and you'd be, judges would be talking, man. This looks great.
Yeah. What struck out to me when I saw this, when I was uploading all the files, was the face of the person in the middle. Like really, really, really stood out to me. And I liked it a lot.
It's like good face work, right?
Yeah,
like really.
yeah. Really good skin, really good face work. I liked it. Even for like such small models, it was definitely very impressive. So.
Because these actually are pretty small models.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're little elves, little space elves.
Yeah, no, they're really cool. They're really, really, really cool. I like the sculpt of them a lot. I like the colors that were used. And I like even just the lighting effect on the picture as well too. So that was great. This guy is a Chaos Knight.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the colors and stuff that were used. It was very different than what I'm used to when I'm looking at these guys. Normally, when I see them, they're very dark. They're very like dirty, mean, rusted up stuff. And to see like brighter colors on something like this was definitely different. And I thought it was great. I like the colors and the creativity. I wish things were highlighted a little bit more. But I can understand being like, cool, I'm done. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we were talking about this, like it looks good, and we often say like, oh, that's what we were talking about today. Like,
what's the next step?
What's the next step,
Yeah.
right? And it's you can do it 6 months later. You can do it 2 years later.
Yeah, you can always go back. As you improve, you can go back. I don't normally recommend it, mostly just because it's like, okay, there's probably something else you can be spending your time on.
Yeah.
You got to call something done at a certain point, but it would be cool if this person then went back and highlighted a little bit more. But I liked the colors on this a lot, and that was really what stuck out to me.
Yeah.
And some cool terrain. Some
Yes.
really cool terrain. And what got me about these pictures, because there's a couple different ones, is I was looking at the table, but I found myself drawn to like the multitude of shelves that they have in the background as well too.
Oh,
of
yeah.
just so much stuff.
It's like, yeah.
And I just really wanted to look at everything that
We
was
got
there.
excited about the stuff they really weren't taking pictures of.
Yeah. I mean, I was excited about the table.
That too.
But then I was like, ooh, I want to see what's on the shelves
Even
too.
more.
Because there was just a
Bonus.
lot. There's a lot. But this table looked fantastic. I thought it was really, really well done. there was this table and then another terrain table that they did, but this one definitely stuck out to me the most, and I think it stuck out to everyone else the most as well too. But yeah, like the crumbling architecture and stuff, just really well done. Really well done. I like the sandstone color as well too. So yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Evocative. It's such a cheesy word to use, but like. It's evocative. That's actually my favorite type of terrain. When I want to go visit this place, you know what I mean?
I want to go there. I want to take a picture of it. Ooh, yeah. Where would you want to go on vacation?
Yeah.
Right? These are some cool ruins to explore. Be sort of like a, God, what is that? Like sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing. Indiana Jones, maybe like, I think that'd be cool.
This is great. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Rudy.
Yeah, more terrain. More terrain. I picked this mostly just because I've painted this kit so many times for the store. Like, there's just a billion of this at each store. But it made me feel like...
Why specifically this, actually?
Kind
of curious.
I don't know. But I think it was because in this terrain set, you get these platforms. And you get a billion of those platforms, and those take up like big footprints on the table. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm like focusing on the cats or the griffhounds.
Yeah. No, and those are just kind of included. But I felt a sense of camaraderie, other than being a store terrain painter with Rudy Picardo, because I also patinaed the heck out of these statues as well too, and like a lot. And then I think I have I sunk 2 of these into like an inch of resin as well too, with this really cool swamp table that Seth and I built, and it used one of these platforms as well, and it was a lot of fun. But I then got to like bring that patina out into the water and stuff, and just patina the heck out of it. And I put little lily pads and lots of flowing moss around it and stuff. And I made bubbles out of resin, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, it just brought me back to that. But as always, there's a billion pictures
I know. I can't
all
believe
the
this
terrain.
guy's gonna get an airbrush. It's like he's not gonna build terrain for a store anymore. He's just gonna build a store.
Yeah. I honestly, hearing that you don't yet have an airbrush, Rudy, was the most surprising thing.
It was a surprise to both of us, I think.
Yeah. More terrain. Wow.
Yeah, there's good terrain this week.
Yeah. There's a bunch of pictures of this as well. Some close-up pictures of like the rust effects and stuff, especially of the drill. I thought the drill was really, really, really cool. But yeah, it's just cool terrain, and I like the pictures of it with using like the table mat as a background as well. So that was really cool. It also makes the rust and like the brass piping and stuff stand out as well. So
it's good too, because you kind of see like if like mats are important, right? If you're going to be using a mat, it's good to get that early and like see
have your terrain match it a bit. Yeah,
of course, right? Like how's everything looking against this backdrop, right? Absolutely. Getting a mat is always one of my first steps when I make terrain.
And this dude.
Oh yeah, it's a little dark on our screen, and it is a darkly painted model, but I actually thought it was pretty good. I'm not usually the biggest fan of when people do their guard in these kind of drab colors, because I think they often get lost on the battlefield in terrain. But this one I was liking. I was digging it. It does look simple. It looks like he can probably crank a lot of these out pretty quick, but get a really good effect on guardsmen. Mm-hmm. It was kind of worn, kind of weathered, kind of oily in spaces. I was kind of into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't guards supposed to be kind of drab?
I mean, could be. These are Krieg or Steel Legion. Somebody will tell me.
They
I
look
told him.
like Krieg to me.
Yeah, and I think you could, right? But I don't think you have to.
Fair enough.
But I don't know. Like that's also tough, right? Like you don't want to just be like, oh, cool, I'm going to paint my models in these like colors that won't pop on the battlefield because that's what they're supposed to. I don't know. That's kind of a tough one. We've talked about that before, like painting, greens, browns, and drab kind of colors in a way that still looks good on the battlefield, while alluding to camouflage or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Can be kind of tough.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of drab paint styles, and so I thought this was really cool.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see that you picked it as well too.
Yeah, it was cool. Oh, this I love. This is just like kind of an interesting take on this model. I think most people think of the often the helmet is what's brighter, and the helmet is I don't know. People do it both ways, I guess. Who am I kidding? But just like the kind of the basic neutral gray with the very bright
Armor.
Head, like
Yeah.
the bright helmet and the gun glow effect was awesome. Yeah, really digging this, honestly. I thought this was super cool. He had a few pictures of these, like a whole Wraith army like this is going to look super cool.
Yeah, because I mean the only ones that I've seen in person are yours, and your armor is super bright red, but the helmets are
Like bone.
yeah. So to see it sort of like the opposite way, in a way,
Mine is just
is
bright
really
all
cool.
around, but yeah, I know
Yeah.
you mean.
Yeah, and I also like the pink glow.
Yeah, on the gun,
weapon,
the gun effect. Yeah, Andrew, nice job. Andrew said this is his. Yeah, looks super cool. And he's got a little Simon sticker too, which is the craft world I use, so that's cool.
Yeah, good job. I like it. I think this is your pick as well too.
Oh yeah, this is Soups, who is cranking out this cherry blossom themed
Oh
craft world
yeah.
army. Now he did some freehand on a banner on this model, and the banner is not in this picture because I just like this up close of the autark here that he did. But the freehand banner is worth checking out, I think, as well. If you guys get the opportunity, if you're in the Discord,
Which you should be.
Which you should be. All of this stuff is totally worth checking out. Yeah, super cool, and it's so cool to see him like just cruising along on this project.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
I hope I get to see some of these armies at like some point on the tabletop.
I've never
That'd be
seen
cool.
this model before, so it's completely new to me.
The head is something else. I actually
okay.
don't know. Is that head from a Harlequin kit, guys,
It
or
looks
is
like
that
a
third
Harlequin.
party?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not one of the heads that this model comes with, but
okay.
it works.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think he was. Yeah, he has like some very like deep level inspiration for this beyond like Japanese cherry blossom theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it like ties into some of that at some point.
I think it would be really cool to see this army on
Your board.
on my board.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Kat, if you're unsure, Kat, what the heck we're talking about? Kat has a cherry blossom themed board that she's doing. Yeah, it would be super cool.
Yeah. So I think that'd be fun. Anyway, I like the green and the pink together. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool.
And white, green, pink, and white. Green, pink, and white is a cool look.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool stuff as always, folks. I never know really what to say beyond that. It's incredible. I'm constantly like blown away by much of the stuff that we get to see on fan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some cool terrain this week.
Yeah, which was weird too because I didn't even realize how much terrain we had picked out because I was going through all the different channels and then I'm like, oh shoot, I need to check the terrain channel because I need to get something, and just to let you guys behind the veil a little bit. We were literally doing this like 2 minutes before we were gonna go live, and so I was quickly scrolling through everything and being like, I need terrain, and then turns out we have a bunch of terrain. So,
we did that thing where, like, actually I did some fan stuff, like, first thing in the morning when I got in at, like, I forget, it was like 10:30 or something. And I was doing fan stuff. I realized 10:30 is not first thing in the morning unless you're Titan fan favorite Bridger Hahn. But for most of us, I know that 10:30 is not first thing in the morning. Anyway, I got in, I did it, and then we, like, kind of forgot about it.
It is way before stream is what it was.
Way before
right?
stream.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like one of those things where you're like, cool, that's almost done. We'll just have to go ahead and do that real quick at, anytime in the next, like, 6 hours. And then you're like, oh, whoops. Stream is happening. And we
I'm like, oh, did you do fan stuff? And
literally,
you're like,
I was like, oh, that's right. I started to. Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's probably a name for that phenomenon.
Maybe. I don't know. We're just going to call it, we almost forgot.
We kind of did it, and then we kind of didn't do it. But we actually did do it.
Yes.
That's, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm pretty excited. enough of that, Jesus. So I'm pretty excited about Kragnos. I think the brushwork's pulling him along quite nicely. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I might be good again, but I do need to do the glow effect on his base, which we can talk about here. But I'm gonna put Kragnos on Glam Cam.
Okay.
And we'll have a look. Now, we don't really have a direct before and after currently. I'm hoping he looks okay.
Well,
okay.
For those of you who are watching the stream recorded, you just like swipe really quickly to the beginning of the stream and then just come back. It's fine. While we do that really quick, I'm going to do this super chat from Avery, just to clear up anything. Kat, are you the organizer Scott and John talk about in Chapter Under Plastic? They have mentioned someone who they schedule classes with who seriously knows what's up. Probably not me, because I just met Scott at Adepticon this year. But I know that they've talked with Seth a bunch of times, and Seth is the one who created the hobby program for the LVO. There's a lot more into that, but he's if you really get into deep lore, he's probably the main reason why 40K is the way that it is right now, and whether that be a good thing or a bad thing, you never know. But yeah, Scott's. I just met Scott at Adepticon this year, so it's probably not me. I don't know who they're mentioning on Chapter Under Plastic, but I know that once tickets go live, you will probably hear them talk about it on their podcast as well too. I'm really excited that they want to come.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Cragnose.
There he is. So I have not actually done anything with the metal yet either, and I might, to be honest with you, do more with them. I might do more with the metal, but. So he's been highlighted up a little bit, low lighted up a little bit. I actually really will have to get an old picture and kind of check it out a little bit and see what I noticed different. But there he is so far.
Yeah.
How's the dinosaur coming out? Should we put it on Glam Cam?
Ooh, should we? I feel like there's not going to be a whole lot of difference between them. Because I've been going back and forth painting a bunch of different things, but I did change his tail. I changed his tail and I painted the white more on his belly. So there's that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, right now the Glam Cam's just sad and nothing is there. So.
Oh no! Oh, we can just maybe watch me struggle with putting them on there. Yeah.
We want to see it. Here we go.
You know.
We can see it both ways. You guys can pick which one is better. When the Glam Cam. I think you just smash him down on it real fast.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no.
There he goes. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. I'm just going to hold him like this. Yeah, I changed his tail a little bit. I might do a little bit more. Because the main reason why I painted his belly white was just because he just looked so much the same. So yeah, I did that on his tail. Oh, of course I'm mentioning it like when you can't see it. It's fantastic. It'll come around. Yeah, so I made his tail a little bit more red.
No.
He's great.
I can't help but feel partially responsible for this.
He's great. See, so there's his tail.
Now you can really
see his tail.
The sound. It's so awful.
He sounded like a plastic toy that like fell on the ground, honestly. It's fine though. It's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I'm not super upset. I can fix them. I talked about cutting feet off of models before,
Yeah.
so I think we're totally fine.
Oh my God.
But yeah, anyway.
The sound was so... It was so drawn. I was like... And then there's like a second, well, there's no sound, and then this crash. Oh man, sorry.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
I know Kat has a
He's fine.
good attitude about it.
He's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, when my models break, I'm not like super upset or whatever. I know some people get like really down about it.
I mean, it's like, I don't really think of it even as a thing. Like, models can't really break, right? Like, you just, I don't know. I mean, right? Am I crazy? I guess I'm.
I don't know.
like they can come unglued.
You know, it since them breaking essentially makes me feel like I didn't glue them enough, and that could definitely be a thing. So yeah, because I've dropped like that Night Warden that I painted for your club. I've dropped them. I've dropped them several times.
Yeah.
And completely fine. No scratches or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Nothing really happens. It just comes unglued.
yeah, it's great.
It just spends a little bit of time not in its ideal assembly.
You know what though? This makes it so that I don't have to pick up him entirely in order to do something to him. So
Yeah, look at that. It's like you're going to save your arm. Mm-hmm. You're going to save the amount of time that the drag
Yep.
of the tail.
Yep.
I think this is I see it only as a positive.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wanted to break his tail off. It's fantastic. So,
Jurassic World extinction, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So how much more are you going to do?
Well, I think I'm going to
Cragnose?
do his glow, which is airbrush.
okay,
So
yeah.
like here we go.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this. I'm doing like white. I'm kind of asking Kat while I'm also like saying what I'm gonna do. I think actually, I think I should trace the actual pattern first. Recess wash this actual pattern, right? Probably, and then yeah, airbrush the white over top of that, so we can actually see like the traced pattern of the thingy, right?
Of the thingy? Oh, of like the runes or something
Yeah,
underneath
yeah.
them? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like ruins.
Okay.
Would you trace the pattern with white first? Have you ever, like, that looks good usually, right?
Like recessed with white?
Yeah.
Is that okay? When you make a glow, anything that you are
This is like where it's coming from, right?
okay, then yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So, okay.
yeah.
This is like the brightest part.
Yeah. You can do that. I also think since you're going to be airbrushing, you might be wasting your time because a lot of what you're going to do right now, you're going to be covering up with airbrushing anyway. Because you can always go back and put the white in. That's totally fine.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I don't know if you want to.
Listen to you or not?
Yeah.
Listen to your, to like you being nice about telling me to not waste my time.
You know,
I don't know if
I'm
you
a
wanna-
very
I don't know if
slow
you-
painter.
I don't know if you want to waste your time or not, but what you're doing would be
Probably be a
stopping-
waste. Yeah.
Stopping would be a good way
Yeah.
to not do that. Yeah, so sometimes when you do this, you can tell it's going to be like super vivid, and I don't know, I think you might be right though. And going back and hitting the white like little, like selectively almost, right? Like in like little like edge, almost like an edge highlight. Is probably the move. So let's do it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go the whole area that we want all the glow to be white. And this is a great opportunity for me to ruin this model, by the way.
Yeah, but what do we mention, right? You know, can't ever really ruin a model.
Well, this would be several days. This would be a day or so loss, I think. Let's put it that way. This would be not great. Okay. Now we want some glow on Cragnose. So there is that.
People seem to be pretty sure that I might inflict bodily harm. No, I'm not. I'm not like that. I'm not like that at all.
No, I mean, I know, like, I realize I probably seem psychotic laughing at Kat's model falling and dropping, but two things. One, I know Kat well enough to know that I'm probably not offending her.
No.
And two, like, it's just like, it doesn't matter when you drop a model and it breaks apart. You just glue it back. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. You guys know this.
Yeah. I have watched too many people lose their cool over a model falling that I'm just like, why?
It's actually funny, you know, yeah, I know, right? It's funny, Brian, if you guys know Brian, who started Tabletop Titans, Brian, I would go over to when Tabletop Titans was just in the shed, and his daughter would be in there with him hanging out, and she would routinely be playing with his models as if they were toys.
Yeah.
And Brian just didn't care because he was like, it doesnit matter. Like, she's going to drop a Centurion and an arm's going to fall off and I'm going to glue it back. Like,
Right.
It's not really a big deal, right? Like it was kind of funny to see that, to see like this little girl at the time playing with, you know, this guy's models, and he just really didn't care. You know, I don't know that I would always necessarily like actively let like a child just like have at it with my models.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I might some of them. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I also think it's a good thing as far as like parenting goes. Like, he wasn't super like, no, these are mine, don't ever touch them. So.
Yeah, that's like a bad look. That's like kind of like a bad look sometimes, I think. But you know what? I don't have kids, so what do I know? Like, realistically.
Would you let your cats play with your model?
My cat, you know, we do let our cats like kind of just play with more things than they should. They got like a game piece from
Like a board game or something?
Terraforming Mars the other day, and like they were playing with it on the patio, and I was like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I just didn't feel like getting up, but like also, you know, I was kind of weighed those two things, and I was like, I just don't care.
Fair.
Cats, but overall, no, I don't know. No, because cats will
Eat it. Yeah.
No, and like, nor would I let a child play with my model without knowing that child is knowing what they're doing, right? If I had a kid and they came and said, "Can I play with this model of yours?" I'd be like, "Yeah, you got to be careful, okay, and just be careful and don't put it in your mouth."
Yeah.
Right, but like otherwise, like cats, you can't communicate that with a cat, and they'll put it in their mouth.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I'll be a good dad when it comes to letting my kids play with different models.
Yeah, I think if a competition piece fell off of a table like that, right? I've had that happen once, and I just but it was on top of like a lot of very sad things in my life happening as well too. So it just kind of felt like like dirt being pressed in the wound a little bit. And I was upset for like maybe like an hour or something, and then I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'll just glue it back on.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I need to do. I ended up not touching it ever again, but also I kind of just was over it at that point. Like,
right.
It was my fault that it fell. It was my fault that it fell off the glam cam as well too. Like, you know.
Well.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because it was perfectly fine earlier. And I should have stuck it down a little bit harder, but it's fine. Like, I could have saved it potentially. I don't really think anyone's to blame, and it's fine. And it's also not a piece that I've spent like hundreds of hours on.
Not
or
yet.
Anything. Not yet. That's fair. But I have a deadline to get my army done, so.
Oh, what is it, a self-imposed deadline?
No, we actually have a GT for Conquest coming up in August, so.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, at one of the stores, so I'm excited. It's like going to be one of their first like GTs. I know they had a small tournament at Adepticon, but yeah, we've been really good friends with the Parabellum dudes and gals, and they're super awesome, and I really like the game, and so we're gonna do a GT.
Yeah, that's fun. I'd like to see it take off. As much as I love GW games, it'd be nice to see other things out there.
Yeah.
And there's always other armies to paint.
Yeah, and it's crazy how many people like are still being like, "Oh yeah, I did a demo here and I did a demo there, and I really want to get into it. This is super awesome." So, it's great that like people who I couldn't previously convince to get into it before are now getting into it. So,
Yeah.
I got to finish my army because I kind of started the move at one of the stores, and I don't play anymore because
Yeah. What store is it at?
the GT is going to be at the Santa Clara stores.
Okay.
In August.
That's fun.
And yeah, and the main store that I would be playing Conquest at is the Redwood City store on Mondays. So.
Okay, here we go. White's End, looking pretty good. I was talking to Kat earlier, and I'm going to kind of bring it up again, that I feel like after I do the white spray and then I start doing blue, I don't always like the way it comes out. I'm wondering if I'm starting with too dark of a blue. What do you think? Is this too dark to go? So just this one, and then the lighter one.
So very
Or not
similar
even the lighter
to how I was doing the glow with the green on everything. I was going with the lighter green and then feeding in on the edges with like the darker green. I always like to start the brightest I'm gonna go, except for it being just pure white.
Yeah.
And then fading it in from there. Because then at least that way, you know, you're starting from the edges and then you're working your way back down. It's the highest
So wait, you
you're
start
gonna go.
lighter.
Yeah. Well, I mean the edges of everything that you're touching, right? Because then you're going to be painting back over with that and then bringing it back down. Does that make any sense?
No.
No? Okay, that's fine.
But I want it to make sense, so go through it again. But I want to know what you're talking about.
I spray where all of the glow is going to be.
With the light color. And then darker around the edges later. Got it. Okay. But actually, I think I'm going to start with the ice blue. The AK ice blue. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the snow blue?
Snow blue, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll see if I can get to go through a Sotar. I guess I don't have to use a Sotar for this.
Could also thin it out a little bit, you know?
I'm like a child when it comes to thinning out. If I could do it in the bottle, but the AK bottles aren't really good for that.
This is your ice blue, so
It is my personal ice blue
yeah,
copy.
whatever you do with it.
It's up. That's true. You know what? Maybe I'm going to do that. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
here
you
we-
wanted to do that to my chocolate brown, but it was mine.
You said no, which honestly, I didn't really appreciate.
No, you're going to struggle. It's fine.
Okay, here we go. Okay, how are we doing on Super Chats? Is this Rudy one?
Yeah.
Is this where we're at? Should I read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Rudy. Kat, I'm sending this to support the show and buy the glue to fix the model.
Aww.
I have to deal with repairing terrain pieces damaged at my friendly local gaming store, so I understand. Good luck getting the piece completed, fam. Yeah, well, thank you, Rudy, as always.
Thank you, Rudy.
Oh man, we might get some good beams out of that. I'll be honest.
Just instead of thanks, nerd, it's just my model falling off the ground.
I'm very excited to hear how the audio came out. I will say that because like
It made a very interesting noise.
I was kind of sitting
For
here.
sure.
I was sitting here like watching, but I wasn't. I don't think I was watching it happen. I think I was actually painting, and I heard it happen, and it was just amazing because it just like I was expecting any minute you to stop the process.
Yep.
But it felt like it went on forever, and I heard it like tumble off the thing, it's so far away from.
It hit
It's like 6, 7, 8
the
inches
table.
from the edge.
It hit the tripod that the camera's on. It hit the table again, and then it fell
I
onto
don't
the
even
floor.
know how it felt.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not on the table edge, but I think because it's such a big model and it like fell over and then
It
just
rolled,
it kept rolling.
but it all was gone. So hard to bear. hard to bear, hard to hear, Michael Cody, because everything was okay. So as long as the audio, I'm just excited to hear how the audio came out.
Oh, I think he's saying the audio of it falling was hard to hear.
I know. So I'm
here.
Here or bear? He
Ooh,
wrote bear.
I don't know. Here is my guess. Because
Like-
it was
like-
kind of far away from all of our mics.
Oh,
so
gosh. Okay, well, we'll see.
yeah.
Otherwise, maybe we can do like an ASMR of Cat's model falling.
And just drop it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I agree. That's definitely what I want on this model.
Totally. How about we'll use one of your
Cragnose,
models?
we'll use Cragnose.
Right, because we're just overlaying audio on this
that's
clip.
true.
Yeah.
We can't use Crag. He's bear. He said bear.
Okay.
We can't use Cragnose
Oh, it
because,
hurt Chetzel. Oh no.
because Kragnos was actually assembled glued together using that Black Widow glue,
Oh.
and so he'll just
the rubbery glue. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just bounce.
Yeah. To be fair, this guy was glued together with plastic cement, so it's not like the strongest bond ever, especially when it comes to something like that.
Yo laughed at me when I used Black Widow glue for this, but who's laughing now? I say.
I mean, I don't know. Let's tip your model off the glam cam. I think that'd be fine, right? Let's test it out. I wouldn't do that. Oh, yeah. Honestly, it was kind of my fault. Maybe if I was looking at my model and not the camera
Yeah.
or the monitor, I probably could have saved it. That's
It's
no problem.
like, I think it's like 80-20 your fault. Maybe I coaxed you into putting it on the glam cam when it wasn't ready. Maybe I encouraged you to try putting it on the glam cam while the glam cam was still, while the turntable was still spinning. But at the end of the day, these are all decisions you.
At the end of the day,
You're your
look,
own
I can now
person.
dry the tail like this. Oops.
See, I think a pattern is emerging.
Like this, and it works out.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna count that as a win. We'll see how that goes. I gotta highlight this leather a little bit more.
I thinned this paint so much, and it came out
Clogged,
okay, but
yeah.
it was giving me splatter. So I think we do a Patriot.
Sure.
I think it won't splatter.
Sure.
Splatter usually means it's.
Splatter usually means that it is drying somewhere.
So like it's too thick. It's sitting on the brush. It's like a version of being too thick, but not so thick it won't come out.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I think of it. So let's see if the Patriot has this issue. I think this is okay for what I'm about to do. Ooh, someone was asking earlier, right? Oh no, it's still splattering.
Yeah, I think you need to thin it a little bit more.
Heck. These light AK colors are often what I feel like does this to me.
Yeah, usually lighter colors because there's just so much like white pigment in it. It's a little bit harder to get through an airbrush, which is why that one white, that satin white was so good.
Which one, the MIG?
Yeah, because it's not trying to stay matte. It has a lot of like sort of flow improver in it to the point where like, I don't know about flow improver, but maybe transparator, because transparator, if you put too much on, it starts to be a little bit like glossy in a way. But yeah. Anyway, I'm fine.
People were really.
I'm fine.
People were really worried.
I think so.
I don't know. Yeah,
Thank you guys for all your concern. I'm
Yeah,
totally
I just
fine.
like don't. When I drop a model and it breaks, I'm like, that's annoying. That's about like the extent of how
Your
I
level
feel.
of
Yeah. I know people like Adrian always like accidentally knocks over my terrain and stuff like on Titans, and I'm just like I don't care. Like this is normal. I kind of feel like I don't know.
If someone's like constantly doing it, right, then that's just kind of a pattern at that point.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I don't know. What can I say? He gives the people what they want.
Destruction and chaos. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Michael Cody brings up a good point. Thank you, Michael Cody. For helpful critiques, use Discord's hobby criticism. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Weirdly, we don't usually critique things on chat. We just talk about how much we like it. But I don't usually pull from there, honestly. I usually pull from Armies on Parade. I kind of like that critique place to be a place where fans just do that and like not me.
Yeah.
So we don't often pull from there, honestly, on the channel. Gosh, this stuff is driving me nuts. I can't believe I'm gonna have to thin this more. That doesn't.
Yeah. I try not to critique anything unless someone asks me. I think I've said this before, that I will not give criticism unless someone is specifically like, "What do you think?" Or "How do I improve?" or whatever. But yeah, because I don't like sugarcoating my criticism. I don't like being mean, but I will tell you.
I kind of like being mean. I'm just kidding.
I don't want to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean with my criticism. But if you ask me for criticism, I will not like shy away from telling you exactly where I think you can improve, and if that means that it's in many different areas, and then it's in many different areas. And sometimes people...
Have you gotten real personal? Like you could paint less smelly?
Ooh.
You could be less smelly while you paint?
You could just be not you.
Yeah, do you ever just like go real deep like, hey, guys, you know what? You said you wanted criticism.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Listen, you guys, I told you I don't like to give criticism.
Yeah.
I feel attacked. You guys said you wanted criticism.
Honestly, I just tell the truth. I'm just being honest. Oh god, I hate that. Or no offense, but I'm not trying to be mean, but I will try and word it in a way that like is actually helpful and not just paint better. It'll be like,
imagine? Oh my gosh.
oh, I think you can improve here, and here's how, and here's why, and here's whatever. I try to give criticism the way I would want it, right? And have it actually be helpful, other than, oh, it looks like you didn't paint this.
It's kind of funny. I should tell this story. Every now and then I will go through YouTube comments for either channel and just check and see what's going on. If like people randomly hate you and me or hate Tabletop Titans or something.
Yeah.
And see if patterns emerge, right? And it's crazy, like YouTube chat comments are like always like great. Like our chat is always great, but YouTube comments is like a whole nother field of people, of fans, and sometimes not fans, right? Who just comment. And we were looking the other day at different ones. I was looking the other day at different like, I guess comments on Tabletop Titans, and I found like my favorite one. Somebody just wrote hard to see what's going on.
Give me a timestamp.
Yeah, right. It was just like, wait, what? Like, it's a 3.5 hour long video, and it was just like hard to see what's going on. And no, it was even better than that. It was just like, yeah, it was something like that. Hard to tell what's going on. Hard to tell what's going on.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like what?
But where?
I don't know
Yeah. That's fair. That's
fair.
fair.
Help me help you.
Like I want to make it better, but like. But where?
Well, They would just say, yeah, well, I mean, like, make it less hard to tell what's going on all the time.
Yeah, just be a better person. No, I've
this
never.
Is great. Thanks, guys. Be better if you guys are better at it, though.
Yeah. So. Oh, and hey, look, he's got some scratches on him, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
Do you think it's from the fall?
I don't know. I've handled him a lot. He's transported in a cardboard box. It's been a while since I've like painted him, but I'm just gonna say yes. Anything that's wrong with him, I'm just gonna say it's because of the fall.
I'm gonna blame it on the fall.
And ever since the fall.
Ever since the accident.
He's never been the same.
Yeah,
he's struggling. We should start a GoFundMe for
Go.
for his hospital bills or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. All right, Cragnose glow effect back on track.
Nice. Can we check it out? Not
Not
yet?
yet.
Not yet? All right,
yet.
cool.
I
You guys
need
can see
to-
me highlight leather for a little bit longer. I know it's super exciting.
Highlighting leather's one of those things where you just like you got to get your recipe down. You know, you got to get your leather recipe.
Sure,
You got to
yeah.
get your bone recipe. You got to get your leather recipe.
I have two different kinds of leather on him. I have this like lighter one here, and then all of his straps are essentially what I wanted to come out as like very oiled leather.
Yeah. Isn't that almost why you want your leather recipe though, right? So that you can do variations on it. You can just like
I guess.
you can have this recipe and be like, boom, switch this color out for this, or add this.
Yeah, these both started out very differently.
So you have two leather recipes, in other words.
In a way.
I mean, it's a serious question. I know it sounds like I'm being silly, but I do kind of like to think of something as like a base recipe that I build up, and then do variations on often, right? For bone, I'll do that. Like I'll use like more of a white for like a place where I want it to be cooler on the like skulls, or I want skulls on the bases a bit cooler or something like that, or warmer depending on the color scheme of the army. Okay, so here's the light blue glow. I do feel a little nervous, but I'm gonna add this. Does this look too intense?
No. Honestly, I like where it's at.
I do too. I do too.
Honestly, I like where it's at. I don't know if you want to do any more. Maybe just go in with the white. You
like
know.
in here. Mm-hmm. With the airbrush, or you'd go with the.
Can you trace those lines with your airbrush? Can you do that? Do you think you can?
I think I can.
Okay.
This is Cat's revenge.
Yeah.
This is the revenge for the turntable incident right here. I baited her into that. She's baiting me into this. Okay.
I think you can do it.
Okay, I think so. Let's do it. Here we go.
To an effect, right? We should just all watch you do it as well too. No, I wouldn't do that to you. Even though the turntable.
I mean, I'm going to practice first. I'm no fool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, here we go. Okay.
Oh no.
Wait, what happened?
I'm just finding like different things that I don't know were there before or whatever, but you know what? I'm just gonna count it as like being very helpful, and because of the accident, now I'm like giving him like a major once over. And I'm going back and fixing things.
Look, you don't have a tumble with like that without then having a little physical checkup, you know?
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, honestly, when he fell off, it wasn't the table that I was the tail that I was the most worried about. It was his paint. Yeah, that's scuffed. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm fine, he's fine. Everything's fine. You guys can watch me repair and highlight leather. But
Okay, this worked a little bit, but I actually do think I'm gonna have to go in and like edge highlight. I think it's just gonna look cooler to go in and
recess wash with some white.
honestly, I'm gonna try like hitting the edges a little bit at first. Recess wash, maybe. Let's see. Oof, probably didn't need to do that. This is like my last bottle of titanium white ink here at the studio.
Oh no.
Until I go home and get like one of the 3 bottles I have.
I was gonna say, you normally buy paints in like 5s, right?
It depends on the paint, right? Like it depends on the paint. If I use a lot of them, yeah. Or I'll just go to like a store and like just clean them out. I'm one of those guys. I'm like a hamburgler, but for non-oil and titanium white ink from AK.
That's fair. I will say though, we haven't gotten a restock of AK in a bit.
You haven't. I was there today looking for AK titanium white ink among other products, and noticed that there had not. The stock was looking pretty slim.
You think you'll ever get to the point where you're like, okay, I don't want to recommend this because then everyone's gonna buy it, and then I can't get any more.
No, look. The thing is, the thing is that like ultimately, what I like to do is buy my stuff, and this is true. I like to buy stuff from Game Castle when I can. But if I go to Game Castle and the product's sold out, I'm not going to be like, well, guess I'll wait till they I'm going to order it online, right? Mm. So if everyone's going and buying all your guys' AK, then that's a good thing, right? That means it's business is happening, and I can give some money to Jeff B. You know, get it, Amazon? It's an Amazon joke.
I'm sorry, I don't know his name.
Jeff Bezos.
Isn't he not the CEO of Amazon?
Not the CEO, but I think he still gets some of the money when I order titanium.
Fair. Specifically, he's holding his breath for you to order titanium white ink from Amazon. Yeah. The accident, oh man, it's been date marked and everything, June 8th, 2022. It's great. It's easy for me to remember as well, too, because my sister's birthday is tomorrow. So now I know every time my sister's birthday comes up the day before, I'm like, that was the accident.
The accident? Oh my gosh. The day the apex predator took a tumble.
It's great. We have it all recorded and everything.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, now I think it'd be cool if just chat was like, no, it was Kat's fault. No, it was Zach's fault.
Like Team Cat, Team Zach?
Yeah. Like
now that the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing is over, like they need a new
drama.
Drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like who broke the apex predator?
Yeah. Or do we have like a secret Team Glam Cam?
Wait, you're suggesting it was perhaps a third party?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is coming out good. I think probably I won't. Let me see. We'll see how this comes out. I still feel like I might have to work on the glow effect a little bit. I'm like kind of okay with it. The recess, it's kind of interesting the way the recess washing is going. It's like, it's more subtle than I would like it to be. Like it's not filling in the way I want it to, unless I do a couple passes, which is like also okay. Mm-hmm. But just a little slower. Because you know I like to just speed up everything I do all the time when I'm painting.
Yeah, I mean, but you're getting into competition painting, you know? There's just a point where like you've spent I want to say almost 2 hours, probably a bit more than 2 hours at this point. Mm-hmm. Just going back and doing touch-ups on a model where I feel like you originally really mostly painted him in a couple hours, right?
That's right. Actually, it was a stream Adrian and I did. I think it was a 4-hour stream. But I did do his base the day before. So I did do his base off stream. And his base took a little bit. Like it's a diorama style base, right? So, mm-hmm.
But at this point, you have essentially doubled the time that you've put into him before, and you are happy with your results.
That's probably true. Yeah, I mean that's all definitely true. Yeah. Okay, maybe what we'll do. How are we doing on time? Oh yeah, let's stop. Let me show you guys where he's at. And I'll show you how the recess washing on the base is going, but it's just like recess washing. It's just going to take a while.
It's fine.
I mean, the evidence is really mounting for Team Zach here. That he's not needed to repeatedly drop this model.
It's fine. I'm fine. He's fine.
Like,
Yeah.
it's funny how I'm like, hey, yeah, we'll stop, and then I just keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop for real. I spilled a bunch of this AK on my wet palette, as you guys can probably see here, and I just like don't want to. I mean, that's what a wet palette's for, right?
You just put a lid on it.
Okay, here we go. I'll put them on. You guys can see how the glow effect's going. You can see the recess washing. I did it in some areas, but it's gonna have to happen more. I think the ruin is really gonna look good when it's all recess washed white. You can kind of see like on the outer rim of Cragnose's hoof there, you can see it's recess washed, but not so much on the inner yet.
Yeah. I like it. How do you feel?
Pretty good. I think I need to, some things you kind of need to see finish out. Mm-hmm. I think I'm probably going to end up going in with white and kind of like edge highlighting little areas of where the glow effect is hitting. Mm-hmm. I see people do that look, and I kind of like it. Like, just like maybe like a little bit of fur that's like near the hooves, just like hitting with like building up a translucent white highlight, like with brushwork. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it.
I think it looks great.
Thanks.
I think it looks great. Would there be anything else that you want to do to him? Because I know you mentioned the hair, but you didn't really super touch it.
I did go up one layer on the hair, on some spots, especially like more prominent spots. But I think I could go up more, especially on this front, the hair horn type thing that is on his front. Mm-hmm. There's a couple strands there you can see that kind of stick out. I could go up a little bit more.
When you start really getting into competition painting, what a lot of people will tell you will be to focus the face, right? So a lot of your work now needs to go into highlighting his face, because right now his face kind of blends in with everything else. That's
a good point. And I didn't do a ton extra on the face that I wasn't kind of doing in with the rest of the model, and so that tracks, right? You're basically saying like his face is not sticking out much more than any other particular areas. And in fact, probably less than, things like the mace and the hair and the shield and the armor.
When he comes back around, see on the front, what really sticks out is how you really highlighted his like front hooves and legs and stuff. And then on the back, when you flip that around, that's very evident on his rump. But yeah, really, Kragnos is Kragnos, right? You want to look at his face. You're looking at his face, you're not looking at his feet. Or maybe you are, I don't know. But
it's kind of tough in a way, right? Like, I mean, that's, with some of these epic models, like, there are different focal points. But I 100% agree, regardless, that the face needs to be a big deal. So I think you're right. And he's got a nose, he's got his little teeth, he's got his little grinning face. I do need to bring that out a little more.
Yeah. To answer your question, Brett, it's a plastic model. It's totally fine. I'm dragging the joke out a little bit more. I'm not actually upset. But yeah, so back to him. I would pick out a couple pieces of hair to really like highlight up, and where those curved edges are on the horns, on all of his hair, on his tail, on his hooves, everywhere on his mane. Yeah. That's essentially like, you know how when you see hair, right? That is really what is catching the light, and that's what you want to highlight up. And so you're just going to do small little streaks just in those areas. I think that would really highlight his hair. And then you can also do it in like a golden color, or maybe like a more orange color or more red color if you really want to highlight the fact that, he's a ginger. Other than that, I'd bring a lot more highlight into his face. Yeah. But I think he looks...
Like when he spins around here, that should pop out.
That should... Yeah. And I know that his horns, like, kind of cover his face a little bit more, so then maybe highlight his horns, right? To have sort of like an almost eerie sort of glow on his face, and you're just going to really make it look like he's glistening. Yeah. And that's how you can kind of force people to look at it, because I like his stomach a lot. You just got to bring that same sort of thing to his face. But
Good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you, fans,
Yeah.
for sticking with us while I upgraded this guy and while Kat worked on her Apex Predator and dropped her Apex Predator.
I did, yes.
The accident. We'll never forget. Awesome. So we'll be back next week. Anything else? Is there anything exciting to say?
Yeah, keep an eye out for the painting program tickets to go on sale for the LVO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably blast it in the Discord as well too.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it. Other than that, Washington store is opening on the 25th.
Yeah,
for
if you're in the
Game
Seattle
Castle.
area. Yeah.
That's pretty much it for
That's
me.
it.
Yeah.
Guys, awesome. Thank you as always. And as we like to say, be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, and always be creating. See you guys.